Welcome, viewers. Another edition of the Stretch Run. We are into the stretch run towards the weekend, which is an amazing thing, I must say. Oldy, how you doing, brother? I hope you've had a good week.
Been a pretty good week. A little busy, but pretty good.
Well, cool. Thanks everybody for being here. It's all on me that we were a little bit late. Apologies. I had to wrap something up real quick, and appreciate everybody kind of hanging around. Mike, good to see you. Scott, Buffalo Mike. We have Mike C and Buffalo Mike. Joe, Chuck, we appreciate you guys. Oldie, I know you're alive to a couple tickets because we were catching up, and you just hit a single at Laurel. And how's the day been so far?
Got bombed in the first leg on the pick five at Laurel. Just played it back, but it's not going to pay much.
Oh,
Wound
yeah,
up being
yeah,
chalky, but it is what it is.
yeah.
Um, sometimes that happens. What are you going to do?
I know. I'm with you. The cool thing is, like, Gulfstream starting. Would they add a race? They must have added a race, Oldie.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. So I believe today's card is 10 races instead of 9, something like that.
Yep. Yeah. So, which is good because then it actually gives us like a little bit of time to actually handicap the way at pick five versus having to rush through it in 8 minutes.
Definitely.
All right. Well, let's jump in. We're gonna talk Santa Anita. We have a special guest for everybody. If you haven't seen, I know Oli, you did a good job kind of promoting. I have been insanely busy with work, so did not do any promoting. Which we do have a guest though, EquinEdge user Brad Anderson's gonna come on. We'll talk kind of tournaments. We'll talk Pegasus. He's a Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge champion, and a group of them have been highly successful winning that tournament as well as others. So he will join us here in about 25 minutes. We'll kind of weave that into the day, and then we'll pick up Santa Anita and Golden Gate 2 in a bit. But let's start, Oldie. You know, race 5 just went, right? I think
Yep.
that race just ended. Yeah, it looks like the
Did,
4
yeah.
horse won. Okay. So let's start here with race 6. I'm single here, so I'll let you. You're actually, I think, too deep, right, Oldie? You are the 4 and the 5 here.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of the 4, so I got rid of the 4 horse unified weekend. I really was looking at the 5 and 6, but tell me how you landed on the 4 and 5 here.
Well, the 4 is top E pick, top win percentage, second SOR, not a great GSR here, which was a little alarming to me. Might be more of a sprinter on the synthetic, but does draw Jose Ortiz. So in this case, where you have the top E pick and second E pick matching, that's like a 60+% plus the win percentages add to 60+%, eh, you know, combo. So those two I went with here. Um, Obviously it looks like the 1's the fastest horse here. The 2's got some speed too, but we don't like speed in, trying to go wire to wire on a route on the synthetic, especially when there's multiple horses with speed.
Yeah, or right, if I think to your point, like you want to see somebody gets alone speed or just a classy horse, which I would say the 1 to me is not necessarily above and beyond the class here in this field, right?
Yeah.
Gets a GSR drop. Yeah, it's going to show speed, but just broke its main in a 36. So I think to your point, that's not the best play in my mind for
Right.
somebody trying to win on the front end. Cool name, easy as ABC. I like the name for sure.
Definitely.
So, I singled the 5 here. I was not a fan of anybody on the pace, the 1 and 2, not for me here. To me, it was between the 4, 5, and 6. And, you talked a lot about the 4. I think this horse may do okay 2 turns, but I question it. It did win a 48 maiden, obviously. And then they put, and ran okay here on the turf, but they're still trying to figure out what's the right surface and distance, I feel like, with this horse.
Yep.
And I think what they're doing is like, well, this horse ran and broke its maiden on the synthetic, right? Didn't do amazing on the turf, but those are insanely tough races, right? So I think gets back here to go 2 turns on the synthetic. It's a drop in class, right? It has the potential. For me, in a situation like this, I just don't think the value is there. And I don't necessarily know that this horse is anything hands and above to take at 2-1. I had a trouble singling, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, when I looked at the 5, I thought this horse was a little bit more interesting. I love that the win percent is the same. I love that the price is better. I also think that this horse could sit, they could go a little bit fast with the 1 and 2 up front. The 4 is going to have to, in a way, probably they're both probably going to be trying to rate stock. But I thought that the 5 had a lot of interest just because this horse is also taking a big drop in class. And in reality, right, I think, similar type of situation with turf and synthetic.
Yep.
But for me, I just thought that this horse might show up a little bit better versus the 4. I mean, it is the second EquinEdge pick. It's shown that it has ability to come late. I mean, this is a pretty crazy race, but this was very easy. So that horse made the 38 look easy, where this horse, obviously made a 48 look easy. So I think it's a struggle between them. I just struggled to find a place to single. I did think the 6 was interesting. Oldy, I will tell you, originally I was singled to the 8 in the last race, but I changed it to add the 1 there and singled here. But
I was close to doing that as well. That
yeah,
would have been my second choice.
yeah. I mean, and maybe, I think if others want to, you could add here and single the 8, and maybe we'll jump there and then we can jump back. I mean, this is a first time starter, 31%.
Mhm.
My main thing is like between the 2 of these, I think one of these horses wins on the speed in the last race on the 5 furlong on the synthetic. The 1 is a big price, which is like kind of why I leaned here. But the 8 could be a single on the end, right?
Yeah.
That was my opinion.
And I also like the 4 red gun a little bit if those 2 do go too fast. There.
Yeah, I mean, that horse could sit to trip. I mean, I think you're right. I totally agree. This horse has burned a little bit of money, right? But I think
Yeah.
you are right that potentially could get a piece. And, it's going to be a good race. I think this last race is interesting. But let's go to leg 2. This is where you ended up singling. You singled to the 2 Oldies. So tell me a little bit about how you got to the
Yeah.
2.
So I was going to single the 2 even before the scratches. Um, but with the scratches, the top pace, it's now a 19-point top pace advantage on the 2. Excellent workouts, speed of the race on a turf sprint. The GSR fits 37%. I also don't love Tactical Joke, who was in the work report both today and yesterday with another ward horse and was the lesser of the 2 horses. The other ward horse did win yesterday at 5 furlongs. But, Practical Joke horse on the turf, they're not high percentage winners, especially not first time out. So I leaned on the 2 as, I think the 2 is just going to get the lead and be gone.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think, I ended up going 1, 2, 5, 12 here.
Mhm.
They're sprinting on the turf, which I love to see. I'm glad that there's a couple turf sprints here. I think, the 2 it could have an easy lead and be gone, to your point. I thought the 1 was a little bit interesting. The problem with the 1 is going to be this horse has to break, right? I mean, did not
Yeah.
break well last out. It's going to be on the rail. That's going to be the issue. But I do think you have Safi Zayas, so this horse can improve, I would say. And if it can, right, then the 5 or 12 are potentially going to be the horses for me that try to come off the speed here between the 1 and 2. But I think it's going to be interesting if the 1 can break. The 1 does not have a great GSR. It's just not
Yeah.
this
It,
greatly bred horse. But yeah, I can see why you singled the 2 here.
yeah. I mean, looking at the 1 on GSR Plus, the 1 looks like it wants to route. It looks like a router.
Yeah, my only thing, I think this horse is working well. It can improve, like it just has to break, right? I mean, I don't disagree with
Yeah.
you, but if this
I,
horse is ready to go, sure can. I mean, this horse has ran 3 times. It is the big thing that I noticed, right, is you're getting a GSR jump, and this horse wants turf over dirt.
yep.
So this horse should improve to win, right? And then I think, you talked a little bit about the 5 tactical joke. I mean, the situation here is it's Ward Irad. Again, not an amazing GSR, but and obviously it's a top EquinEdge pick and second win. So, but I get the single. I think I could totally see it. And to 12 is obviously. It's going to slide into the 10 post. It's going to be okay on a turf sprint like this. It doesn't have a ton of speed, but if they fly up front, Saez, I think, or Luis Saez could be dangerous
Yeah.
here on the 12. It is the EquinEdge long shot as well.
And again, that's another practical joke horse on the first time out on the turf. And that's for me, that's usually a play against.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's go leg 3. We both spread here. You were not all, but I know that you spread here as well. You are 2 through 5, 7, 8. Oh, and you are all. I think we're
Yeah.
both all here. I thought this was a tough leg. I really did. I didn't necessarily love the 1 or 6, so I was kind of bummed to see them scratch. But I did think the 4 was interesting here. Anything in your mind that you thought was interesting?
I did think the 4 was interesting. That was on my list. Um, really, really close. I would rather see the 4, I think, on synthetic, but I'm not positive about that. I just didn't trust the 2 and the 3 here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
No,
they're,
I could see
they
it.
I mean, the 2 could win. The 3 I don't trust at all. The the 5 is you know won a 50 and then didn't win a 64 and then moved up to a 72 and now is coming back to a 68. Those are your 3 top win percentages. I thought the 8 was a little interesting too. I thought
Yeah,
the
I
8
didn't.
could go gate to wire.
For sure. I mean, the speed, the horses that like the 3. I'm not a fan of the 3. The record was really the only reason
Yeah.
why I included the 3. I mean, horses won 3 out of 5. It's hit the board 4 out of 5. But I mean, these horses can't get too far back because the speed, which I think makes the 2 very dangerous here, to be honest. But the speed on the inside can just be so dangerous going these one churn on dirt. Um,
Well, I also want to point out on the 3, it's first time maker. So that plays into why I ended up using it, is both
yeah.
the first time maker and first time Pletcher horses.
Yeah, and you have Irad. I mean, Irad should keep
Yeah.
this horse close enough, right? I mean, if they fly up front, it could easily set up for the 3. I mean, I think we ended up in the same situation here as
Yeah.
this race became pretty wide open. You have the Fletcher and the Mott, Rosebug are both coming off lengthy layoffs, right? Perfect Grace is coming off well over a year,
Yep.
and is this horse going to be the same horse that raced last out, right? And then you have Rosebug, who's coming off, not quite a year, but essentially 10 months, and is the same question in my mind.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next. I mean, I'm essentially spread all with you. The next race, you are also spread. I thought this was a difficult race
Yeah.
off the turf. Um, I ended up handicapping this and like kind of just looking at it and like, man, there's a lot of horses that can win here.
Yep.
We have very similar. I think I might have 1 or 2 additional horses, but you were 2, 3, and then 6 through 8. So not completely all, but pretty close. But anything here that you liked?
I felt like a lot of these horses were hangers. And these 7.5 furlong races, which I'm told by something I read are actually over a mile. These races are really, tough.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
the seven's your top win and top win percentage. The two actually isn't among the top picks, but is the second win percentage. Um, I like the six a little bit as just sitting off the lead there is your top SOR. Moving to turf, GSR says it should handle it first time out. So it's really what I would call um, an interesting race here. You also have the three who could just get the lead, and there's no other speed here and could be gone, especially with the rail out.
Yeah. Yeah. 42 feet. So, and I remember at the beginning of the meet, the 7.5 furlong was playing so really crazy to
Yeah.
the speed. So it'll be interesting here.
Yeah, no, and that's why I spread. I did not use the 5, 1, or 4 because for similar reasons. The one, first of all, hasn't really run. It was running against better though, so is a risk not using that horse. But all those horses are going to be coming from so far back that
Mm-hmm.
I just
Mm-hmm.
had to let them go. The 7, it's also a reason that the 7, even though I used it, I couldn't at that point, 3 legs into my ticket, give up 31% of the win percentage. But
Yeah.
I think somebody ahead of that horse is going to win.
Yeah, I mean, we thought the same way. I mean, the only difference I have is that I added the 9 just because I thought there was potential that
Yeah,
this horse just being near the pace, it is 3%, but is bred for the turf, right? I mean, has run at 8 furlongs, ran in a 42, ran okay here in a 54 and a 44. So
yeah,
I mean, this horse I think is gonna be tough to win, but I was, nearly all. I did the exact same thing as you, though, Oldies. I just didn't use the 1, 4, 5. I mean, these horses. I think the one is 1%. So these
yep,
horses are gonna have to close on a 42-foot rail, right? It is only 9 horses, but still, it's not like it's a 12-horse field, but that's going to be tough. And these are they're all low win percent. So
yep.
yeah,
And I should add that the other thing, at least early in the meet, with the rail out, inside closers have done very poorly.
yeah, good to know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You are 1, 2, 4, 8 in the last. We talked about this for a minute.
yeah,
How much time do we have? We still have 10 minutes. Okay.
yeah. We're going to be.
You're 1, 2, 4, 8 in the last. We did talk about the 8, but what else here?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm looking for those things that fit my highlight horse kind of criteria, and the one here, at 12-1 morning line, 9-2 morning line, 11% win percentage, top pace with, a race under its belt would fit that criteria. The only thing I did not like about this horse was it's poorly bred. Um, you know, I don't know that it's going to want to hang on when it gets close to the wire. And I think the Ravelli from the outside might be faster than the system indicates as well. On the 8, and I'm not sure what the 1 will do if he doesn't get the lead. If those two hook up, I think either the 4 or 2 wins.
Hmm.
I like the 4 a lot. 4 was actually my second choice, 3-1, and then the 2 is the deeper closer. It is synthetic, but it's one turn, so it's tough to come from that distance. Um, no real prices here, but this horse has run pretty well on the synthetic, so it was hard to pass up. And is even though the SOR doesn't indicate it, it's actually taking a drop. And last time it was at this level, not level, it actually won and was disqualified. So
Yeah.
there's a little sneakiness there too as to why I used the 2.
Hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think if it's in my mind, if the 8 doesn't win, I totally could see, the 1, the 2, the 4. I could see it. So I am only 1-8. Again, I singled in the first leg to the 5. I didn't necessarily love the 4 with the GSR drop and thought they were very comparable horses. I do think the 6 is a little bit interesting, so that also scares me. But I just went 1-8 here, just because that I think, again, I almost singled the 8, which I think you could on tickets if you want. I mean, that's just I like to trust these horses. Usually it's a first time starter. You have the morning line, you have the win, you have Irad, you had Ravelli. Like, they are only 1 for 11, but very low sample. But see, on the flip side though, and this is where I kind of got in, you then have Zayas for Mary Leiter. And I mean, she's got a great win percent. They hit at 27%. This horse is going to be on the rail, right? And it's just going to, I think, going to depend to your point. Like, it is a low GSR, but this is a maiden 16. So many of these are low, right?
Yeah.
So, in my mind, it's to me, it's the 1 or 8 who, if the 1 gets the lead, I'm guessing Irad's just going to try to sit right off, right? And then it's going to become like, can the 1 wire in my mind, or does the 8 with Irad just kind of sit off and go past the horse? But we'll see.
Well, and I know in the past that Irad and Ravelli were a pretty potent combo. They just haven't hooked up much this year. But they were like a 30-something% combo in past years.
So
but yeah, I just think there's a possibility that we get a pace duel, and the 2's actually proven he'll pass horses too. That's
no kid, for sure. I mean, I think to your point, I mean, this horse has been racing. I mean, Hero ran really good in a 46. I mean, in that case, this horse dropping in class and fits perfect, right? Peter Reyes has been riding. He rode there and then rode here in a 38. So if you can forgive the races here, this horse 100% fits. I'm with you.
Yep.
Cool. So Scott or Trish, I don't know, Oldy. I will tell you, I just been too busy to even look at tomorrow. But they're asking about Cyberknife, Oldy. What are your thoughts?
My thought is Cyberknife might be the best horse in the race, but the post is awful. And I believe I posted a stat in one of the chats that stalker closers from the 8-hole or wider were 9% at GP, and obviously 10 poster wider would be even less than that. So you have to be much, much, much the best, and I don't think he's much, much, much the best. There are 4 other Grade 1 winners here, and at much better prices too. I hate the 5-2 price on Cyberknife here, and I think the horse may even go off at even money at the time of post. I just it's going to take a perfect trip and a perfect ride from that post to win. And Gulfstream too. I mean, no speed or relatively no speed from the 10 post, or even speed when there's other speed from the 10 post is really a tough call. Personally, not to cut my legs off for tomorrow as well, because I'll be hosting with Chris Walsh. We'll be live starting at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, because I know you weren't able to make it, and Scotty's competing. So I really wanted to be on the air for the Pegasus, but I really like Defunded. Our collector may get the lead. Defunded one last out rating, actually has won 3 races where it hasn't gotten the lead. I think that people are probably overjudging that he's just going to go. And I have a tip on White Abario that Safi thinks he's going to win this race. And then I think people are over betting Proxy, and you should look out for Simplification if there's a pace meltdown.
Yeah. And you have Florent Giroux riding Cyberknife, right? Somebody
Yeah.
I think just said that. So that's in my mind not a positive, but it's not surprising
That
that
sounds
Flo
like a hand
rides. But
ride when you should be using your whip, Justin.
yeah, I know. And I think Marco, you probably can find better value. I mean, I think you've pointed out a lot of good points, I mean, it's going to be tough probably for that horse, I mean, and there's probably ways to find potential to beat Cyberknife. And Scott, that's a good stat. I mean, Wadabario's not lost there, which is, obviously with Safi and being based out of there. So should be interesting. All right. How much time we got? We got 2 minutes. Till Gulfstream started the pick 5. The 1 is the favorite, Oldy. So people are thinking this horse is going to wire the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the situation that we have here. I mean, this horse is definitely the pace of the race, but it's the current favorite at 8-5.
Well, if we're right, then it presents value for either the 4 or 5 there. They should be lower prices.
Yeah, I mean, this horse, I mean, it wired here on the dirt. And again, you get we know this horse is dropping 15 points on the synthetic. And then, it does have IRAD, right? So, I mean, I guess that's the benefit here. You do have probably the best jockey in the country, right? So, but, and I, that would be the deciding factor in my mind is he could give this, he's going to probably have to go like 25 though, in my mind, to try to wire the field in this situation. I think if he goes any faster than that, it's going to be very hard.
Well, and I think with the 2, I think the 2 knows the 2 needs to go too.
Yeah.
Too. And I don't like, look at what happened when the 2 didn't get the lead in that 54. It tried for the first 2 calls and then was done. And maybe that happens. Maybe the 1 gets to the lead, the 2, tries through the half mile, and then the 1's gone. I don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I think my hope is that the 2's going to be on the outside of the 1. I really hope that Zayas is able to put some amount of pressure on Irad on the 1, because if that happens, again, in my mind, this just sets up for the 4, 5, or 6. And that's how kind of I visualize it, I guess. I always try to visualize it, right? And maybe the 1's obviously ticking back up now, but I just got to imagine that Zayas is going to put some amount of pressure on Irad on the 1 here. Not going to let him just get loose.
And I mean, that's pretty much Zayas' riding style too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I used to say about Paco, you don't put him on a horse to rate.
Yeah. It should be a good one though. Oldy, what time are you guys doing the show tomorrow? You say 2 p.m. Eastern?
2 p.m. Eastern. It's
Nice.
Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be covering the coast to coast as well. We'll be under the coast to coast banner for tomorrow's show. And Chris and I, if things are going well, we may stay with you for all the way through the golden hour.
Yeah, that'll be good.
There's some great racing. There's also the Southwest, which we can't show, but we've also handicapped. So we're looking forward to having EquinEdge on the air during a big day like that.
Let me get they're hitting the Tapeta, so we'll see. I think this is
the horses are at the gate. It's now post time. Getting set to load up now for race number 6, where the 2-1 co-favorites are 1, Easy as ABC, and 4, Unified Weekend. 3-1 respect for number 5, Affy Kid. 5-1 on 2, Commander Flynn. This late pick 5 starts here with a pool over $250,000. As Commander Flynn takes his spot in the gate. Ready now is Pluma Roja.
Can you hear Pete? Oldy?
I can announce repeat.
Cool.
Unified Weekend. Stretch out in distance today under jockey Jose Ortiz. Waiting for Affy Kid, Legend, and Mateo. Legend and Mateo, the last two up. Unified Weekend now firms to the favorite at 8-5. Mateo and Paco Lopez to take the outside gate.
Nate wants us to know that there's no echo.
Yeah, that Nate.
They're at the post.
Thank you, Nate. I figured it out after like 6 weeks, man.
They're off.
Oh, that's bad.
Good
for
start from the
singles.
inside for Commander Flynn, who's headed off for the early lead, taken on by Legend in the early
Although
stages.
I do love
Easy
that
as
the 6 is
ABC
up
guarding
there.
inside position. Mateo's up on the outside. Then it's Unified Weekend. He begins ahead of 2. They are Pluma Roja and Affy Kid.
We're getting the
They run
pace
around
we
the
asked
first
for.
turn. The advantage to Commander
Yeah,
Flynn. He leads by
the 4 and
half a
5. The 5
Legend
broke
moves
slow,
to in
but
second.
we'll have to
Easy as
see. Make
ABC
sure you
is now
didn't
in
use a bunch
third.
of energy.
Mateo races in fourth. He's in the green colors. 2 better than Unified Weekend. Affy Kid is on his outside, and the trailer is
Still
Pluma
pretty
Roja.
reasonable pace.
They complete a quarter of a mile and straighten out for the run down the backstretch. It's Commander Flynn and Edgar Zayas in front through a 24-2 opening quarter. Legend, the nearest pursuer, second, pocketed up third, as easy as ABC. Mateo races from fourth with
And that
Unified
4 is
Weekend. And the
gangly
blue
like a
blinkers
turf
looking for
horse.
some place to go. Pluma Roja sliding through at the inside, and out the center is Affy Kid as they race to the half-mile point. The opening half mile was 49-4. They take much closer order now. The leader is Commander Flynn from Legend in second. From the outside, Mateo is now moving closer on the far outside. Affy Kid let go for a run. Here's Affy Kid striding forward, 4 wide on the outside. Then back from there, it's Pluma Roja ahead of AZ as ABC. And if the favorite wins, he'll pass everybody as Unified Weekend is last of all as they run to the top of the stretch. It's Affy Kid with a big sweeping move to take the lead now. Mateo fights with him. Legend is next, working to the clear. Easy as ABC. Then Pluma Roja. Unified Weekend is next, and they're at the top of the stretch.
Come on.
It's Affy Kid, the target. Easy as ABC. Takes aim on the outside. At the rail, it's Legend. Late run from Unified Weekend. He was going to get a slice here, but the win's going to go to Easy as ABC. Easy as ABC to win going away. Affy Kid second.
Somebody knew something there.
Yeah, well, I think bye ticket. That's true, Marco. I do agree. I mean, I think the thing about that is you have Irad, right? Who, he was able to just like the 6 went, and I mean, Irad just didn't go the lead, and he's like, when you look here, I mean, that's the difference. I mean, Irad gets on, and this horse, he's just that good, right? I mean, he can make this horse be able to rate. Like, what other jockey can do that? So, and you end up getting 3-1, which is a great price. But yeah, Tony, that's a bummer. I mean, and I talked about it like in the last minute, right? I mean, it's like you add Irad, it's going to completely change the dynamic. I'm just bummed because the 5 ended up getting second. I think had a great trip, but just you're not gonna beat Irad. I mean, that was the difference maker there, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. I am gonna play my ticket back.
Yeah, it's not nice, Anthony. That's a good exacta. All right, we're not going to cover Laurel. We got Gulfstream about 30 minutes, and then we have Santa Anita in 46. So I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're gonna try to have more guests, but today we have a fellow EquinEdge user. We have a Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge champion. I want to introduce everybody to Brad Anderson. Brad, we appreciate you joining us. You're kind of a legend in my eyes that you've won the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, man. And would love to just have you on and, talk through kind of you as a horse player, talk a little bit of tournament strategy, obviously with Pegasus tomorrow, but welcome, brother. We appreciate you jumping on.
Thank you, Justin. It's a pleasure to be on. I always enjoy talking to fellow horse players, and especially on a Friday afternoon before the Pegasus. There's nothing better. So, thanks for having me on. And Oldy, how are you?
I'm doing well, Brad. Doing well. For those who don't know, Brad and I play fantasy football together, NCAA tournament pools together. So, somebody I've learned a lot about, not just how to pick, but how to organize tickets and how to recognize value from. And, I'm very grateful for all the time Brad spent with me or arguing with me about horses and things like that as well.
That's the beauty of this sport is everyone has an opinion and everyone is right until you lose, and then you got to be humble and shake it off and move on. But creating great friends through this hobby is just something that is just I've been blessed with, and it continues as I just seek out as much as I can about horse racing. I just love all aspects of it, from handicapping to breeding to bloodstock agents to aftercare. It really is just a fun sport to understand all aspects of it.
Yeah, and Brad, while we have the time too, will you talk a little bit about Vino Rosso and how you won the BCBC? You knew that question was coming. You can't have a conversation without talking about Vino Rosso.
And you would think that I'd have it memorized by now by the number of times I get.
I do wish
asked
you had
that
it
question.
memorized.
So I was participating in the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge in 2019 in Santa Anita and was on location. And for those who know this tournament, it is it's a betting challenge. These live cash tournaments are more a betting challenge than a pure handicapping challenge. And you go to these tournaments and you're competing against, the best of the best. Scotty has had phenomenal success. And you go into these tournaments and the first thing you need to decide is, what is your end goal? Are you going to go for the win? Or are you going to just go for the experience, or is there something in the middle? Because if you're going to go for the win, you've got to be able to make big decisions, like the one I did on Vino Rosso in the Classic. And that year I had 2 entries, and the entry that I won on for Friday, I did not win a race. I went 0 for 3. I used all my minimums, didn't hit a lick. And then came back Saturday and luckily hit a very nice daily double, Kofefi into Belfour Bay, which paid about 40 to 1. And all of a sudden, it got my balance to a level that I felt like I could compete. One other race, and that was, what was that? Spun to Run, I think, was the horse from Parks. Questionable speed numbers, but did a small win bet on that horse and got my balance up. And then comes down to the last race. And the last race in these tournaments, you have to understand where you are relative to the leaderboard and where do you think that final leaderboard will end up. And in my handicapping, I had come down to 2 horses. I liked Mackenzie and Vino Rosso. And I knew the number that I needed was about $125,000 to win the tournament. And Mackenzie started drifting to about 5 to 2, which really wasn't enough for me to win the tournament. So I pivoted and then went with Vino Rosso. And again, the decision I made is I was going to go all in on Vino Rosso or I was going to walk away with 0. So I placed a win bet about $26,000 on Vino Rosso. Had the race of my life, live in person with the mountains behind us at Santa Anita. And I thought Irad had the perfect ride on Vino Rosso and overtook Mackenzie in the stretch. And I ended up getting about 9 to 2 on Vino Rosso. And then I ended up with about $145,000 in the tournament. And in these tournaments, you don't know how other people have bet. So you have to wait around. Turns out my $145,000 was enough. and it took me to about 488,000. And in my mind, then, Vino Rosso got me about 17 to 1. So when you add in the prize money in these tournaments, you've got to look at the opportunity for value above and beyond what the race is giving you. So, I made that decision. It was a great decision in hindsight. My other entry, just to let you know, I was also alive. I had about a balance of about 20,000, and I Dutch doubles bricks and mortar into Yoshida, War of Will, and Higher Power. So in the Classic, I was alive to 4 horses. Those last 3 horses would have got me about 120. So I wouldn't have won the tournament, but I knew I was sitting in pretty good shape, which probably gave me even a little bit more confidence to go all in on Vino Rosso. But it was, it was a great experience. I was relatively new to the tournament play in 2019. I think I started in 2017. I had a great mentor in Matt Miller, who's just a phenomenal tournament player. Matt won the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge 2 years ago. And I've learned a lot from Matt, and the strategy really played out. And you have to have the strategy, you have to have the horses, and you got to be willing to go all in if that is your end goal.
Which, takes us into this year with your friend Drew, who did go all in.
Yeah. It's funny. 3 out of the last 4 years, I've been sitting with the champion at dinner, drinking great wine and eating phenomenal food. So I've been very blessed. My crew of friends have had a lot of success. But yeah, I was at Keeneland. I was there at the table with Drew. I was following him. I knew what his plan was. And again, he had a plan, and he knew that he wanted to go all in on Flightline. And he made that move, shoved all in, and just saw, a great horse run a great race. And we got to celebrate.
Yeah. No, and we were all rooting for you. I had texted you, hey, if I were going to beat you guys, this is the bet I'd place. And that hit, and nobody played it.
If I remember right, Oldy, it was a daily double. I think that European horse, right? War got us into Flightline.
I wasn't War. I was, God, I can't remember the name. It was a 5-5 double, and it was going to pay 10 to 1. So all you needed was about 20,000 on that to win.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things Brad's taught me. And Brad, if I can say this, is if you're playing something like that, understand how much you need to win based off the previous years, and then make a plan on how you're going to get there. Am I giving away the trade secrets there? Is that okay that I'm saying?
No, I don't think the trade secrets are a secret anymore. I think all you have to do is look at the winners of these large tournaments. And, and the Pegasus is a great example. It's another great tournament. It only is a one-day tournament. Scotty has had success. And part of his success is he's got the ability to say, I want to go all in when I want to go all in.
Yep.
And I look at the Pegasus, and when you look at the number that is won, it's about 65,000. If you look at what Scotty won, Brian Schenvert, who's another acquaintance of mine, Eddie Olchek back in 2018, they all won with about 60 to 65,000. So when you lay out your plan, you have to have a plan to get you to 65,000. And in these pools, the prize structure is very top heavy. So, you've got to be willing to shoot for the top 5 to really get the added value of these tournaments. And these are different than, the NHC tournament, which again are great tournaments. They're different style. They're the $2 mythical win place tournaments. And quite honestly, I'm just not good at it. I like to handicap, but I don't like to handicap a ton of races. So I love it when I can get a dedicated card like the 13 races at Gulfstream tomorrow and really lay out a plan. And you come up with that number is 65,000 and you start with 5 and say, okay, how am I going to get there? How do I get to 65?
Mhm.
And there's a couple of key strategies that you have to deploy. And the first one is efficiency. You cannot throw $20 wagers here or there. You've got to press your opinions. So, in the Pegasus, you have to have a mandatory of, I think, 5 wagers of at least $500. So to me, there's not going to be a wager that's less than $500.
Mhm.
And if you hit something early and start to build your bankroll, then you need to think, where is that next phase where I can take it from, let's say, 12 up to 30? Because my approach is to start backwards, and you say, okay, what are you going to do in the Pegasus? What are you going to do in the turf? If you like a horse there that like Cyberknife, and the odds are not going to be what you really think you need, or if you love Cyberknife and you're only going to get 2 to 1, 1 to 1, then you better have at least $30,000 in your bankroll if you want to place a win bet on Cyberknife. Otherwise, if you're lower, let's say 15 or 20, you've got to find a different way to get there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, when you get into these tournaments, you have to do what you're good at. You cannot get out of what, you have not been successful. And me, I've always been good at wins and daily doubles. I have a hard enough time picking a winner than trying to do an exacta or trying to do a trifecta. It's just not my style. I just have a hard time on those. So to me, logically, I will do win bets and Dutch daily doubles to try to get me a number.
Is that?
But the other thing is it's just a lot of fun. I'm an analytical guy, so I just love to tear the puzzle apart. And and you have to have 3 or 4 different scenarios that are going to get you there, because your plan A is probably not going to work, and you got to pivot and you got to adjust. So you have to have a lot of understanding of where you may want to find additional value that wasn't in your initial plan.
I think Justin's got a question for you.
Yeah, I think the one thing, and I've only played a few. I actually wish I could play more, but in the state of Washington, we can't play horse racing tournaments for some very strange reason. But so I can only play it live, and I actually played in the Pegasus with Scotty the year he won. It was an incredible experience and that was the first year I'd ever played a tournament, like first time ever, and I did it a little bit, I think, just to try it out, but what I would agree with, and I think Scotty, and hey, Mike would agree, is you have to make an opinion. You cannot just be like, well, I'm going to try this or try that, to win. Right. And I think the other thing I would say is you have to play with no fear too, because if you can't play with no fear to make an opinion, you're not going to win. Right, Brad? But the one question I was going to go to is, you talked about placing win bets or kind of daily doubles. Is that how have you traditionally, I'm going to build up my bankroll ultimately to a last big win bet to get the value? Is that, hearing your story, I'm just curious if that's kind of been your build my bankroll as I can slowly and then go all in on what I think my strongest opinion is.
Yeah, ideally, that's my plan A, Justin, is if I've got one horse in the Pegasus, and I think my expected value, the odds are 3 to 1.
Yeah.
And I know that I got to get to 60. So I got to have a number around $20,000 going into that last race. Now, you can also look at, the turf right before it. And if you've got a couple of strong opinions and you match it up with another strong opinion, you can try and get a double that gets you to 60. So that's where you have to have multiple plays ready to go and ready to fire, depending upon where you're at, and also where the leaderboard is. If all of a sudden somebody has jumped to 75,000 tomorrow, then you've got to make a decision on getting to 75, where originally your target was 65.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a valid point, right? Like you can't I think what I hear you say is you have a plan and you kind of have a method going in, but you have to be able to pivot, right? Because it's a tournament. Like you have to be willing to like, okay. And that's what makes it so tough, I'm guessing, right? Like you have to be able, and I remember I was sitting at the table with Scotty and he was like working out his bet and doing whatever, right? And he just jumps up and he's like, this is what I'm doing. And I'm like, you weren't even talking about that. And he's like, but I saw that this horse, and he's talked about this. His saver bet is the one that made him a boatload. And he plays it a little bit different if I hear you and him. And he does play a lot of, I think, exactas and tries and like, but he bet savers. His saver bet was the one in a try. He put this 5 horse in second. It was like 15-1 or something in a try, and it ended up winning 35 grand. Right. And I think he was probably, and he says this to me a lot. He's like, and I've talked to him about training. He's like, that's not going to give me enough money. That's not going to give me enough money, which is to your point. You have to pay attention, right, to the leaderboard.
Well, that's where players like Scotty and Brian Chenvert's another example. How they structure exactas and trifectas, just they will run circles around me. I'm just, I need simplification. I need simple, this is what I need to do from point A to point B. Those that can think in that kind of fashion is just, it's remarkable. It's just not what I'm good at. And I've tried, and I just haven't been successful. But there are those that play the exacta, in the year that Eddie Olczyk won it, he threw together some bomb of a trifecta that took him from, I don't know, like $600 all the way to the top. So there are ways in which you can leverage that. Again, you just have to press your opinions and not try to go too wide to create a winner. You want to really, be efficient to get the value.
Mm-hmm. And thinking about both the Pegasus and that, one of the, when we're talking about doubles, and one of the reasons you love doubles from talking to you is you can get a horse like Flightline at 1-9 and get 10-1 if you can find a double that hits with that horse.
Yeah. I mean, to me, you have to, when you're in these tournaments, you've got to be paying attention to the probables because that's where you see the value. That's where you say, well, I can get a horse in the Flightline that's going to pay 8-1 where the horse, itself may be 4-1. And you say, well, if I think that Flightline truly is a free square, then why wouldn't I try to get additional value on a horse that I already liked? And I liked it 4-1, but all of a sudden I'm going to get it at 8-1. And I think the other thing that I really enjoy about these tournaments is I've talked about the friendship. I mean, now when, there's a group of us, we go to Saratoga, we go to Keeneland, we're going to go to Santa Anita. I met a mutual friend of ours, Kenny, at Del Mar last year at the BCBC. And it's great to hang out with like people that have similar passions around this hobby. And learn from. I just learned so much from everyone that I played with that you start to branch out to, what is this bloodstock agent? How does that work? What is the aftercare of these horses? And there are so many people that are at the races for different reasons that you just start to meet a lot of fun and interesting people in the sport.
So, thinking about that, I know you're involved in the aftercare aspect. We've talked to Chris about that too. I think that's a passion amongst many horse players, is to see the horses they're watching be treated well after their racing days are over. And that I'm really appreciative of the work you guys have done on that.
Yeah, it's just, these are just phenomenal athletes, and as a handicapper, sometimes we just look at it as a number and we move on and what's the next horse. But these horses, they have lives, they have personalities. And I was fortunate to get in touch with an aftercare organization, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. And they have a program and I promise I won't go deep into this, but it's called the
No
Second
worries.
Chances program, where they put a farm next to a detention center or a low-level prison, and as the individuals are ready to get out of prison, they get a 6-month program of taking care of horses, and they learn how to shoe horses, they learn how to bathe them, how to feed them, and then eventually a lot of these individuals will get careers in the horse racing industry on the backside, or working for a trainer, a hot walker. And it really just allows a horse to help humans in a way that just has connected with me. And fortunately for my wife, that we really enjoy making that a priority of our charity giving.
Excellent.
One other point I wanted to bring up,
go ahead.
and I think, when you look at these tournaments, the Pegasus and the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, I mean, it's a lot of capital to get into these if you just want to buy your way in. But there are a lot of opportunities to take $20 and win your way into these entries. And it really opens your eyes to, playing with, you could call it found money in that case, if you take $20 and you turn it into $400 and then you turn it into $6,000. And I think that's a great way for people to just understand how these cash tournaments work. And a lot of the ADWs are doing them now on the weekends. ExpressBet does, Naira does, and they're just a great opportunity to take a little bit of the money that you normally would bet on a card and say, let me play a tournament and understand how that works and get the experience. Because to me, how I got started in these tournaments is, I would go to Breeders' Cup and I had the capital and I was going to be betting large sums of money. And my friend said, take that money and just enter a tournament. These live cash tournaments, you keep your own dollars. So, if you all of a sudden take your 6 to 15, you can stop. And that money's yours. I mean, you don't have to make the decision to go all in. So a lot of this is, if you're going to play a card and you have a budget, look for a tournament that also fits in that budget and play along with like-minded tournament players.
Yeah. I will say the reason the tracks love these tournaments too, though, is people do go all in. So that they end up making a lot of money on the ones who go all in to try to win too. So it's beneficial to the tracks and the ADWs too.
Yeah, I mean, the additional handle that the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge brings to these racetracks is just phenomenal. And if you want to look at some of the odds movements in the Classic last year, and you look at some of the win, play, show wager odds, you can easily see how some of that was altered based on the tournament and the likely favorite.
Absolutely.
I love hearing your story, and Brad, and just coming on and sharing with us. I know we're gonna watch Gulfstream here in a minute, but they're, I guess, just kind of hanging behind they ended up scratching the one. Okay. So that horse was like all over the course. I guess one question I had for you before we kind of let you go, we appreciate you taking the time and coming on, and are you playing tomorrow?
Yeah, I am. I wasn't going to, but fortunately I got lucky and I hit the coast to coast pick 5. What was that, last weekend for about $4,000? So it added some capital. So yeah, I'm only firing one bullet in the tournament, but yeah, so I'm ready to attack those 13 races, though I'll be focusing more of my attention on the latter half of the card as opposed to the front half.
Yeah, and I will tell you that Chris and I plan to have the leaderboard up during our broadcast tomorrow, so that we're following you or following Scotty. Anybody who wants to message me that they're playing as well will follow you as well, and we'll be providing live results as they come in on the leaderboard as well.
Yeah, and Oldy, one other thing, the other thing that I will do when there's not a tournament is I'll play a tournament on a card, even though there's not a tournament. So, I'll say, okay, let's just say tomorrow, I'll take $500 tomorrow and say I'm going to play a tournament to try to turn that into 2,000.
Yeah.
And I'll do that on a Friday. I'll do it on a Sunday, because it really gets you into the goal, which all of us have, which is to make money. We want to turn that 500 into profit. So you can do these tournaments yourself. You don't need a formal structure like the Pegasus card. And sometimes we'll just do it among 3 or 4 of us, and we'll throw the money in and just see who gets the highest balance.
Well, and also, like anything else, if you don't practice, you don't get better.
Right.
And it allows you to practice without the public and the risk. It's the same thing I tell people about making tickets with the ticket generator. You don't have to play every one you make,
Right.
but it's good practice. Like Sam Houston is a great one because you can't bet it right now unless you're in Texas. So just make Sam Houston tickets,
Yeah.
try new things, and learn from it.
Yeah.
Like
Oldy, Justin, thank you so much for having me on. I love Friday afternoons, a beer, and watching you guys, and it's enjoyable. You do a great job and bringing a community together of like-minded people. So thank you very much for dedicating your time, but also for allowing me to join you for a little bit.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man, and we'll have you on again. Go win tomorrow. Just go win tomorrow, right, and then we'll have you on again next week, and it'll just be this great celebration. But I wish you luck, man, and we appreciate you coming on and sharing.
Well, if Scotty is listening, I'm gonna say stick it to Scotty.
I don't know, these tournaments, you're in the deep end, and Scotty is one of the best. So if I were ever fortunate to finish on top of him, I would feel really good. So.
Oh, and he would know that I'm joking. So, all right, we're off, and I did not get the lead there. The 12 got the lead.
Yeah.
All right, hit the winners, guys. We'll see you.
Thanks. All right, Brad. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, I think I'm dead here. I think I needed the lead.
From behind the speed goes Moonlight Vision. Then it's Edna's Napper. She's 5 lengths behind. Tactical Joke is between horses, and up on the yacht side goes Starship Sunrise. Out the back, 7 Ps, and Don't Annoy Me. Around the far turn they go. The leader is still the early leader, Queen Karima. She's in front 3/4 of a length. Sure Can in the clear with no trouble today. She has every opportunity from there. 2.5 lengths clear of Moonlight Vision. Then to the outside, Pardon Moi. They're at the top of the stretch. This leader is still going. Queen Karima, 1/8 of a mile from home and 1.5 lengths in front. Sure Can tries to gather in the leader. On from third with a good kick. Tactical Joke. Final 1/16 of a mile. It's Queen Karima. And Sure Can gets up late. Sure.
You gave up too soon, man.
Yeah. That happened yesterday too, where a single I gave out didn't run the way I expected, but it came back to win. The horse I thought was going to be on the lead, but I played back my pick 4, so there was a boom hands for me, or as Kenny would call them, jazz hands. But you got to have fun with this too. It was so nice of Brad to share his time and to come on. I hope people who are playing tournaments learned a little bit from his strategy, and I think he's really playing at a level that a lot of people having a little understanding of will help them through to getting to that level. And Brad does a great job with guys like Kenny and Nate and myself helping us understand the logic behind what he's doing as well.
Yeah, and as Buffalo Mike said, have a little faith, Oldy. I knew the 12 was going to run there, man. Oldy's ticket to play back. We just missed in that first leg. That was a bummer. The 5 almost won, and the 1 got us. But there's your single playing back. So I hope you hit that. I tried to keep it up on the screen for a bit, so if anybody played it while we were talking with Brad and then flipped it over. It's funny, Oldy, I got this setup I have is much better now. I figured out the setup, which fixed the sound, and I'm guessing I should have just asked Scotty. I'm like, is this how you're doing it? I'm sure he'll be like, yeah, man. And I'm like, I was doing it a different way, but I can see how, and nobody taught me how to use StreamYard. So I've now kind of figured it out, but good job on your single there. You advance. If anybody else played it, good luck. The 12 with Sayas obviously ran really good there, but just, wasn't able to hold on. But a good thing for you. And then the 5 just, you talked a little bit about the 5, but they just struggled to get going until late there. So,
well, and if you look at the workout report was very similar on that horse. It was working well, but not as good as that other horse, and just kind of hung a little bit and didn't have that much speed. And I know it's a ward horse, and I knew it was going to get that. I was actually hoping it would get that it would go off as the favorite, and I'd be able to steal one here. But it worked out, especially with the scratches. And now we know the 2 can rate.
Yeah, sure can. As Buffalo Mike said, sure can. All right, we have 14 minutes at Gulfstream or at Santa Anita Park. So let's go here, Oldy. That is your ticket. You are spread 4 deep and singling the 4 in the next leg. I actually singled here, so we'll look at my ticket in a minute. But tell me a little bit here about yours.
Yeah, so I did not. I mean, I know the 4 is a risky single, so I'm 2, 4, 7, 8 in the first leg. I have the 8, who's the Scotty long shot, and the top pace. I'm sorry, not top pace, top win percentage. I have the 7, who's the current favorite, second win percentage, second pick. The 8's also first time Mike McCarthy, has an 88 GSR, which is hard to pass up, even though it is gun runner on the turf, not as good as on the dirt. The 2 is your top choice, and you look at the races it was running in Europe, and it should be right there. It just looks like it could be a money burner or a hanger. Also McCarthy there. And then the 4 is your top pace. And, I thought that the way the Santa Anita turf is playing, the 4 could steal this race on the front end. Because I do not think much of the 6, who's your 1% second pace horse. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
On mute. So I was, it totally does, man. I mean, I get it. I ended up, I'm just single to the 8 here. I love this horse's EquinEdge long shot. I do wonder, this horse is going to have to come off the pace. The rail is at 30 feet. I thought that the 1 was actually interesting. I think this horse is working well. It's run well in the past. It's shown its ability to rate. And you get JJ here, an Irish Prophet. I thought the 2 was interesting. I thought it could sit a great trip. My main thing, I mean, in this race, you have a bunch of horses that have not been able to win, right? Like the 2's tried 7 times. The 1 has tried 7 times. 4's tried 4 times. So, I was trying to find out, like, hey, where's some angles here? Didn't really like the 3. I think to your point, the pace here, these horses up front are, we could see a really hot pace. The rail is out at 30 feet. And to your point, the Santa Anita turf has been playing to speed. Is my only concern on the 8. With all that said, there's this first time McCarthy. Is it Katsuzushi Kimura takes the ride here on the turf. Like, this horse has been facing great horses, is bred really, really well. And I think maybe I may appreciate the 8 furlong. I mean, GSR says that, but I think this horse has struggled a little bit to get up, was a lot closer to the speed on the dirt, and is coming off, a little bit of a layoff. But I thought this was a really tough sequence, to be honest. Was a little bit of my struggle. I actually like the 5 a lot in the 4th race, but the horse is, 10-1, and everything couldn't kind of line up. I wish this horse would have been that EquinEdge long shot, and I probably would have just singled it. But I singled here, and I think this first race is tough, though. I mean, I think you have some of the horses, Oldy, in the 2, 4, 7, and 8. I also think the 1 could run a great race at 19%. But yeah, it's going to be, I think the Santa Anita, I think this was a great sequence, to be honest, if others are going to play it.
Yeah, no, I think this thing could pay. I think my single's kind of risky as well.
Yeah, tell me, and I think he is a good jock, Anthony. I'm with you. So tell me about the 4 here, Oldy. I thought this was an insanely tough race. Like
Yeah.
I went all, I think, here, to be honest. But tell me about how you landed on the 4.
I think there's a lot of pace in this race, and the 4 has shown the ability to rate, has shown the ability to win at Santa Anita, and likes the 8 furlong distance. My feeling was that the pace is going to set up perfectly for the 4 here. The 6 worries me a little bit, as does the 1. But I just looked at this. You have a 76, a 72, a 61, and this is your top win percentage, your top GSR, and is right there on the SOR. So, I just think that this horse has a real shot here based on the pace setup. But again, risky single on my part.
It is, I think. I mean, second EquinEdge pick, the win percents to say this thing's wide open. And that was kind of my struggle. I'm like, what's going to happen here with the pace? I mean, but I get it. I mean, the second EquinEdge pick, top win, even though it's pretty wide open. But, I struggled with this race. But, I mean, good for you for taking, a stand on a difficult race. I love to do that. I ended up just going all here again. I would love this 8 to win. And I love singling the EquinEdge long shot if I can get things to add up. So I'm hoping, I think this race is just kind of a wild card, to be honest. It's just a tough one. But good for you for taking a stand. All right, let's go to we have 8 minutes. So this is perfect.
We got time.
Yeah. Let's go to leg 3. You are just 2-6. I added a couple others. I do like the 2 quite a bit though. So, I think this horse is a little bit of a price, Red Cross Knight. And I think, if I was to probably go 2 horses, I'm with you. I'd go 2-6 here. So tell me a little bit about how you went narrow.
Well, the 6 is top pace. I think there's a lot of other pace here, but I think the 6 could get the lead and could just be faster. It could be the speed of the speed here. 28%, 67, tied for top GSR, as are a lot of horses here. But, E second pick, second win percentage. So there's a lot of things pointing to the 6. What I found interesting, and the reason I didn't use the 4 at all here, the 4 won last time out at Los Al, seems to need the lead. So we have another horse that needs the lead, more speed here. Isn't as fast as the 6. And so I'm looking at this as, well, maybe I can get some value on the 6 here, or, people will bet that 4 down because of the connections, something like that, because it's JJ and D'Amato. But, it also is a sprint at Santa Anita, and those tend to go pretty fast. And that's why I love Sadler and the 2 here. The 2, first of all, has shown that it's classy enough to win here, shown that it can rate, and there really are not anybody else here that I trust rating in this spot. The 1, Clouseau, Chief Inspector Clouseau from the Pink Panther movies, he beat a 46 last time out. I don't love this horse on the rail in this situation. So, if I had to pick a different single, the 2 probably would be my single here.
Yeah, this horse came out of Emerald. I didn't spend much time down there last year just because I didn't have any horses this past summer. But traditionally I have. And this horse, it broke its maiden in 15,000 maiden claimer. I mean, this would have been a nice claim, to be honest. And this is state bred from California, right? So is able to drop in here. But this horse has been, racing versus open company. But obviously, a little bit of a different story up at Emerald Downs, to be honest. I mean, you see that was only a 48. So they thought a lot of this horse, though, as a 2-year-old, to be honest, to throw it in the Gulfstream Futurity, which is a nice, it's the nicest. Hold on, guys. Sorry. It's the nicest 2-year-old stakes race at Emerald. So it ran fourth. Wasn't close enough up here to remember kind of what happened. And, were there any, nice horses out there? A lot of times there is. And we ended up going 2 turns right here. So that was my thought. And then, to your point, Oldy, this horse won a 58 at Los Al. That's a difficult track.
Yeah.
Sprinting. It wants to sprint. Like, this is a great bet. Like, you and I really align on the 2, in my opinion. I ended up going, I think, 4 deep here. I did not add the 5. So I was just 1, 2, 4, 6.
Yeah.
5
on the GSR drop you don't like, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I said this horse looks to be bred for the turf. With the GSR drop, to your point, it is removing blinkers, and you do have Vasquez. So, it was a little bit interesting. I just don't know if this horse can rate by the looks of it, right? It doesn't look like it can, but it's not. We just saw Irad get on a horse we thought was going to get the lead and just kind of set the cozy position. Ramon Vasquez is a great jock. So, if I was to choose 2 horses, I would be with you on the 2 and 6. I just, anytime I start going 3 or 4 horses deep, I really almost auto include the EquinEdge long shot, because it seems like if you don't, it just bites you. So I'm 1, 2, 4, 6. We have still a little bit of time, right? We got probably about 4 minutes. So I was 1, 2, 5, 8 here. You're pretty heavily spread in the 4th leg.
Yep.
We have some of the same horses. I really like the 5 horse here. I'll just make a comment on that, Oldy, before you comment. But 1% increases. This horse is working well. It, is its 2nd time starter. It moves over to the turf, gets the GSR increase. This is not an amazing field. I think this horse could really improve. It's 9%. I can see why you spread, Oldy, but this is a horse that I really almost like the best out of this field. But ended up adding a couple others, but I'm not surprised to see you spread here.
Yeah, no, I thought this race was wide open. I even think the 3 is a possibility, even though I did not use it. And, I just think anything could happen in this race. The 2 favorites, the 8 and the 2, I think will battle on the front end. I think the 5, 1, 4, or 6 will win this race.
Yeah, in knowing that, the 5 ends up, does 5 have, as Van Dyke, but perceived Maddie, but I think this would be my kind of gamble of the day on the 5 horse. I think you're going to get a good price here. I think has a great shot. All right, let me look at the video. So we got 2 minutes. So perfect. We got that in perfect, amount of time. And Gulfstream is not like stumbling over Santa Anita, which is awesome. We have about 10 minutes there. So you're spread heavily here in the last, Oldy, 3 through 7. I thought the 7 Dance Kid, I thought about this horse potentially being a single. I was not all in on this 3 horse. You obviously are not either.
Well, I don't know if you read the workout report, but the 3 and the 4 are working together with virtually no difference. The working company, and neither are able to separate from each other. So if you like the 3 at 8 to 5, you probably should like the 4 at 5 to 1. Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, and then I actually like the 5 a lot here too, at 12 to 1, the E long shot. I thought there was value here. It's taking a big drop. Had some trouble. If you look at the trouble line, shuffled between, brush crowded a bit. The up close tired on the turf, but I don't think he really wanted turf. I think he wants to go 6 furlongs. And, I think this horse could be dangerous here at 9% to 12 to 1. And anytime you have a 12 to 1 morning line on a 9% horse, you got to pay attention.
Yeah, I'm with you. I ended up using the 3, 5, 6, 7. So ended up thought that the 5 100% with you. I do think the 7 for Aiden Frias about Adele Abel Cedillo. This horse is a second-time starter. I think this horse can improve. You can toss the last race. Horse was 10-1. It's dropping in SOR again. I think Dance Kid has a chance to upset here. The morning line likes it. So we'll see. So they're loading. I'm going to flip it over, and we will let Mr. Maramati. The 8 is taking money. That's my single. Good luck, Oldy.
Good luck to you too. And as I talk through this, the one other thing I wanted to mention about that 2 that we were talking about in race 3, that's the only horse in that race with 2 wins in a non-winner of 1 race.
Yeah, I mean that horse is, again, coming from Emerald, so very sneaky, I would say, in that field and dropping into state bred, right? I mean, good for them to get the horse back to California to get some, I would do that if I owned the horse, like get the horse down in California and race in some nice state bred races.
Definitely.
No sound yet, but I'm assuming it's coming. I can't,
I'm not hearing anything.
Me neither, but I don't have the race up on my. I don't think there's any sound right now. If anybody else has the race up, I don't think Frank is able to be heard anywhere.
Maybe they're having technical difficulties.
I just pulled it up on my iPad and I got nothing. Well,
Overrule is next. Pelagio and Admiralty Place.
Can you hear it now?
At the back of the field.
Yes,
Down the backstretch, and Juan Hernandez takes Irish Prophet clear. They're in front by 2 lengths to Warrior Road in second. Cupid's Crusader and 34 Coupe right together, third and fourth, with Ridley's Major and Dancing Rika the lead. Dancing Rika is making a little bit of headway now. There he goes, all the way up to grab second around the far turn. Then Overrule next, followed by Pelagio and Admiralty Place at the back of the field. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and Irish Prophet just cruising along thus far. Has a 3-length edge on a wide Dancing Rika. 34 Coupe is down at the rail. He now moves into second with a furlong left to go. And it's Irish Prophet 4-length lead. Dancing Rika, 34 Coupe right together. Admiralty Place has come from last and is finishing nicely, getting into second. But it's all Irish Prophet. Irish Prophet dominates. Wins by 4.
Well, that I talked about this horse for a minute. Like I worried about this horse. I ended up liking this horse probably second best, to be honest with you. I mean, if this horse, you look here and it took money, was working well. I mean, it had been racing in tough races, nearly won last out in a 54. JJ rides back. I mean, this horse was potential in my mind, but neither one of us get there. I tried to single against it, picked the wrong single. That's a bummer. But what do we got till Gulfstream? We have, and I don't know why that sound didn't come on. That's strange. We got 3 minutes. So, Oldy, you know what I'm gonna do? Hold on here. I'm gonna add the stream back. I bet that's what happened. Usually that does it. Let's see here. You, Oldy, ended up at Gulfstream. You singled the 2 there, so we both ended up being spread here. I ended up not singling. I just kind of played my my ticket back because the 1 scratched there and ended up going 3 deep, and I kept just the 1 and 8. I almost singled the 8 for $54, but yeah, we're both all here. Maybe you can catch a little bit of a price, I would say, to make this ticket pay a little something.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping for a price here, obviously. No huge prices in this race at all, which is another reason why we both looked at this as an all.
Yeah, I thought that. Hold on. I got Samantha in my ear. Okay. We will at least hear her in a minute. I thought the 4 was interesting here, Oldie. I thought, this horse A game is that EquinEdge long shot. And, this is a nice little allowance race,
Yeah.
but this, ran the win percent drops, but you do get Gaffney on the board, which I love. And Source tried to rate. I love the determinately through lane. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen that as a comment, but I just love it. I mean, that's great. One on the rail first time out, which is not easy. Is bred for synthetic, which you love to see, right, at Gulfstream.
Yeah.
So I thought the 4 was really interesting here, and I don't think the 2 as a favorite is any special. And we talked about the 8, right? This horse could wire the field.
For sure. For sure. The 8 at 7-1, I was hoping to get it, that scratch probably took a little bit out of it. I was hoping to get a little more than that on the 8, but I think the 8's got a decent shot. It's Gulfstream on the dirt. Speed's always dangerous. I am not hearing you.
Oh, I was on mute.
That'll do it every time.
I mean, that's interesting. I wonder what happened. I'll watch that. But that must have been, well, the sound, I don't know. Doesn't matter. I think that the 8, I think, but look at this horse. This horse won 5 out of 15 times, hit the board 11 out of 15 times. And it's a hard knocker. I mean, has 1 in a 62, 1 in a 64, 1 on the lead here, and just pulled away. So I mean, this horse, gets loose, could be really, really dangerous. I think the issue is going to be trying to come over, right? I mean, does get the scratch, which is nice, of the 1 and the 6. So the 2 ends up being on the inside, and then so slides in a little bit. This horse is going to show speed and just have to get over. And you look, here, this horse has won 5 times. The 3 is difficult to come off the pace like that, right, on the dirt, to your point of like having him up front. And this horse is experienced, has probably predominantly been racing at Gulfstream. Yep, almost all its starts. It has 12 starts, so this horse could be dangerous on the front.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if the 2 might break a little slow off the layoff or something like that. I know it's working well, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not ready to go after more than a year off.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and I think we talked about this earlier when we looked at the sequence. The 2 perfect race as well as the 7 Rosebug. I mean, both these horses are coming off lengthy layoffs. I mean, and my question always, right, is like, is this horse the same horse? Because if you're on the shelf for over a year, think about it, any athlete, right? So I mean, you have ACL surgery, or if a horse with a tendon or something, like, are you going to come back as the same player? I know a lot of people talk about Cade Cunningham in Detroit with, his injury that he experienced, and people are like, is he going to come back? Like, is he going to be the same? Like, he had a lot of hype, right? And people are now like, is he going to be the same player? So I think you can say the same thing, right, about, horses, just as much of an athlete as just, a football player or a basketball player.
Right. Absolutely. I 100% agree with you.
All right, they're approaching the gate. I'm going to get the sound on, make sure this works this time. Did you hear Pete there, Oldy?
I did not yet.
Oh, here you go.
But you're not up on the screen, so that might be why.
What about now? We'll hear him
yes.
in a second. We'll hear him here in a second.
Peachy will be next.
Yeah, the other thing on the 2 is, because of the scratch, that horse is starting on the rail.
Going forward.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Then 3 Riches and Rosebug.
Can you hear him now?
Yes.
Okay.
I love these 7 furlongs. I hate the 7.5 furlongs on the turf, and I love the 7 furlongs on the dirt at Gulfstream.
Rosebug moving forward under Jose Ortiz. American, of course, to take the outside. Time for the late pick 3, all set at 7 furlong. And they're off. Far outside, American, of course, wins the break and goes looking for the lead. Rosebug has speed. Three Witches is not far away, and A-Game comes away racing in fourth. Peachy Weechy is second last, and Perfect Grace is last to exit the chute. She's about 6 lengths off the speed of American, of course. American, of course, at the 5/8 in front by a length and a half. Rosebug is there second. Three Witches is now third. A gap of 2 to A-Game in fourth. Angled to the clear is Peachy Weechy, and the trailer remains Perfect Grace. They go to the half-mile point. No pace pressure yet for American, of course. She's in
it's not that
parts of
fast.
length.
I mean,
Latched onto her second is Rosebug, and she starts to make a bit of ground. Three Witches is behind the speed, while third. Three better than Perfect Grace. Then Peachy Weechy and A-Game. Around the far turn at the 3 furlong point.
I mean, the horse
Hitting up
is
now
in
is
hand.
Rosebug to take on American, of course, for the lead. Three Witches is in the clear and on the go. A gap of 3
Jose
more.
hasn't
That's
even
Peachy
asked,
Weechy,
though.
3 wide.
He's
Perfect
just
Grace on the
asking
rail.
now.
And at the between horses, A-Game is last. They run to the top of the stretch with Rosebug
Two-horse
the target.
race.
Here's Three Witches on the outside, and these two put on some speed. They put 6 on the rest of the field, and they're at the top of the stretch. Rosebug battling hard inside. Three Witches on the outside.
I mean,
tries
he was
to bridge
in
the gap.
hand.
4 back
I
to
don't.
American, of course. Then Perfect Grace. Rosebug is repelling Three Witches. Final 16th of a mile, and Rosebug's got it locked up. It's Rosebug at 4-1 to win by 2.5 in the end. Three Witches was second.
That's good, man. Yeah, that's you get a little price there. I think the nice thing too, right? So we talked about the 2 and the 7, Oldy, and the 7 horse was also off a layoff, right? I think for Bill Mott, and and in my comment, which I didn't really talk about now, was that this horse could get improved going to 7 furlongs, and you had that GSR jump, and this horse won in a 54. So in a situation like that, right, the 2, not the same horse anymore. The 7, still the same horse off a layoff, would be my take of that. I mean, the 2, there's, and this horse had burned some money even before. So just a highly probably, even though it gets over to Fletcher, this is probably not the same horse.
Tony, why do you say that 7 shouldn't have won?
Why? I hate those.
Yeah, I would be.
The 2 didn't break, like I predicted too, from the rail, the 2 didn't break. The 2 was done at the break.
The Ortiz factor. I mean, Jose, the horse was in hand coming around the turn there. That's why, you could see he might be able to shake the 5 off. But I don't know. That horse was ready to go. The 8 just used so much. Yeah. There to be able to try to get the lead. So, all right. Oldy, we have 2 minutes till Golden Gate. If you have a ticket, which I know you put one together, we can talk about it. I did, but we can give me a second here. I got to pull up another. Are you going to play your, I'm not going to play
my Anita back.
Okay. Yeah. Mine would end up being really expensive, and I wouldn't like spread like that. So maybe we'll come back to Santa Anita. I'll leave these here. Give me 1 second. Let me get another screen up and we can look at Golden Gate really quick, Oldy.
Yeah, no, and I think if you look at Golden Gate here,
there was a bunch of scratch. See, this is so hard there. Our scratches always come in so late at Golden Gate.
And for me, this is a hard sequence to play because there's so many narrow. There's 1, 2. There's 2 4-horse races in the sequence. So the way I had set this up was I'm going to go all in one and single in the other. Single a non-favorite in the other. Because how else are you going to find any value in this situation? Does that make sense? And you may be muted again, and you are. I can see it on the screen.
I completely disliked the 2 and 6 in the first race and both scratched, so I'm not surprised by that. What were you let me get back to full screen here. I would go all there. We can kind of put this together. I thought this. Where would you have singled, Oldie?
I would single the 2 in race 2.
Yeah, see, I would have probably singled the.
See, I thought you would have liked that single. That's the top pace, 25% win. Scotty Long shot 8-1 on the morning line, but 2-1 on the morning line.
All right.
That screams Justin single to me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So, and then race. So maybe all there. All right. So what about I thought the third race was tough. How much time we got?
I'm all in the third race.
Okay.
And then I'm 1, 3, 4, and then 1 through 4.
Yeah, this was, I thought, a tough race. I mean, we won't get this in for anybody, but I think, I thought I would have probably went. These races are tough. I mean, I think it's a tough little sequence, to be honest. I was not a fan of the 1 here in race 4, to be honest. This horse has not run well on the rail. I quit, 3 tries at, a bit tougher. I think is going to be tough. I just worry about that horse on the rail. I thought the 3 was, what were you here, Oldie? 1, 3, 4?
1, 3, 4, yeah. And the race is off. We missed it.
No, yeah. I would have probably singled the 3 here. This would have been who I would have ended up. I would have played like something like that, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Let's watch it real quick. You're okay?
Yeah, I'm probably just going to play that. That one I will play back as a pick 4.
Lengths ahead of Snake Island, who's dropped well behind now. Not going to get it today.
Around here anyways.
Fish Corn does it really well on the lead here. Puts a length and a half on Gonna Get You Good. The stablemate comes out of the pack, takes second. Cobra under a ride is back in third, though. Snake Island about 20 lengths off the lead as they swing for home. Irish Corn going strong. He's going to be tough to reel in.
That's a hand ride. That 3 to 5 horses go on.
Irish Corn just.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That definitely wouldn't have been worth doing it all there. Made the right choice by looking at that and seeing there were so few horses in the sequence that it probably wasn't worth playing.
Yeah.
And maybe what we do, Justin, instead of playing early at Golden Gate, maybe we do a pick 6 because it is the mandatory payout.
Yeah. Why don't we? So we're going to be on until we got about another hour, right? If I remember right. So we can come back to it. It's not till race 3. So no, I like that, and we'll handicap it and go through it. I did not look at the late races, but that's okay. And Rory, I some way I think you're right. Woodbine doesn't a lot of times translate to Gulfstream. I feel like all that well. So I think a little bit interesting there, but. So 11 minutes until Santa Anita. It looks like. Let's go to. So I singled in the first race. Are you going to play a pick 4 here or no?
I would rebuild my pick. Hold on. Let me build a pick 4 here. I probably, being a pick 4 here, I would probably play this differently. And I would add to, I'd add to race 1, and I'd probably try singling the 2 in race.
Well, let's
in race 2, or in race 3. I mean.
Yeah, you would single. So let's say $80. You're saying you would single the 2 here?
I would single the 2 in race 3.
Yeah. All right. And then what would
you have to try? You have to try to make some money.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Somewhere.
Give me 1 second, Oldy. Hold on 1 sec.
That jump on me? It did.
All right. Sorry. Had somebody come at the door and then my kids. Apologies all. All right. So what would you do in the first leg then?
I'd go 1, 3, 4, 6.
So you go 1, 3.
And I know that I'm giving myself the kiss of death by playing all but one. But, the 5 is, even though it's now the first pick, which I don't think it was when we went over this before, it looks cheap to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, may or may not get the lead. And then we can go back through this. Would you keep this stuff the same then? I just put in 80 bucks.
Yeah, I'm just switching those 2 legs up.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know. I know that I think leg 3 that was yours. And then or race 4, and then 3 through 8 in the last. That may have added
3 through 7.
Oh,
3
okay.
through 7.
All right. Yeah, there you go. 60, but I put in 80. Sorry. All right. There's yours. I know we covered a little bit of this. So, I think this race is fairly open. I mean, you're getting rid of the 5 there that is cheap, which I can see. I think that makes sense. I would probably, and I'm kind of just looking at this, if I played this, I really like this 5 horse, to be honest. I think this horse is going to get a really good trip. It is a state bred turf, but we talked a lot about this too. So Red Cross Knight, this horse, comes out of Emerald and then ran at Los Al and won in a 58 and steps up here. So you're confident here that this horse is going to be able to rate off the pace, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of speed here. And I think this horse is going to sit the perfect trap.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's, we can't watch Oaklawn. You want to look at this Oaklawn race real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Might as well. We got 7 minutes till Santa Anita. So let's look Oaklawn race 6. We didn't look at Oaklawn, you guys, but let's look at this for a minute. And we have, again, a few minutes until Santa Anita. So we'll jump over here. The 2 horse American Band, I mean, 0 for 2, 25,000 maiden claimer, right? The 1 is 1%, or the 6, sorry, but crazy morning line angle there. I mean, this horse, even though it's 1%, if you're playing a vertical, I would say don't leave the 6 off of, maybe being able to get up just by looking at the price and morning line. But Oldy, I look at this, right? One of the first things I do is just try to break down the pace. And I see this and, we end up having 2 horses in the mid 50s, not necessarily, super classy, have run. This horse ran for second last out at 6 furlongs, probably fits. The 3, was the favorite, runs back at the same level. I mean, what are your thoughts here? You think one of these horses can stay on the lead?
I do not. You rarely get 9-2 on a Brad Cox second-time starter. On the 4, I would bang the 4 here.
Free Will. So Oldy's pick would be the 4, 20%, which is, a great price. Morning line, not taking much money. Top GSR though. So to your point, this horse was the favorite. Ran at Delta. Talamo rides. Go ahead.
I don't love Talamo riding either, but it is what it is type situation. These are claimers. A lot of the top jockeys are spread out right now because of races this weekend as well. And the 2 who's the favorite with Asmussen Sun riding, they're a 3% combo in 38 races. So no thanks. Yeah. I'll let that horse beat me.
I mean, look at this. this is an interesting race. I was going to make sure we can listen to it. I have it up on my iPad, so at least be able to listen to it, even though I'm able to watch it. It looks like they're approaching the gate. I'm going to turn the sound on.
I'm going to put it up on my B screen as well. So,
I think the 4 is interesting there. The 6 horse is interesting to me, of a horse that may hit the board just with those angle on the morning line.
I can actually explain the morning line there. It ran as a maiden in a 68 SOR first time out stakes race. Didn't really run a lick though.
Yeah.
So and then they're dropping in for a tag for
is insane.
And I'm looking at they're dropping in for a 25K tag after starting in a stakes race. Makes me think that maybe this horse isn't sound. Would be my guess.
She didn't go.
Riders off at Winehouse.
I don't think she didn't go.
Here's Free Will. The last horse to load is Collected Glory.
Does anybody know, does OP still offer the bonuses for not running with Lasix or any medication?
She is. Ramsey Zimmerman's right back aboard.
I don't know, Oldy. I'm not sure. Yeah, Roy Oldy talked about that first time, Brad Cox.
And also,
they're off.
Jotham, no, I will be not at the Pegasus. I'll be live on the air with Chris Walsh broadcasting the Pegasus from the YouTube and Twitch channels.
Winehouse, and the trailer up the backstretch is Old School Flash.
And the 4 had a lot more speed too than
Free Will. Past the half-mile pole, True Emotions a neck in front. Free Will is second by a length and a quarter to American.
That's the second time started, which happens often.
For Keith Asmussen. He's third at the rail and 2 from the front. Then it's 2 lengths further back to Step on the Foot Feet. Then through the cracks into the outside Collected Glory. Here's Collected Glory going to move up from 6th up into 4th. 5 back to Old School Flash, and the trailer is Winehouse, and the dueling leaders are Free Will and True Emotion. Free Will is outside, True Emotion is inside. Collected Glory just ran right by American Band, and here's Collected Glory in with a chance, a length and 3/4 from the front.
That horse.
True Emotion. Collected Glory is
trying, man.
I think if he passed, he would have went.
Collected Glory half ahead.
Yeah, it looks like
Asmussen. Now it's down to these 2.
I was wrong about the Asmussen favorite there.
Win.
That's what happens when you're on the air, though, and you have to be the one making recommendations. So.
Wow, it was a good try. All right, Santa Anita, they're coming up. They're out on the track. I think that was a tough sequence at Santa Anita. I think it is. Oldy, you would single the 2 there. I don't know. I singled in the first race. I'd probably single the 7 in the last race if I played this. Let me see. So I thought that the 7 was probably the most interesting for me. I don't remember how much my ticket was. May have been 160 actually.
I mean, you can play that, except for you have 3-5 there instead of.
Let me see here.
It's just where are you going to find the. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
That lets you find some value. Hopefully, the problem is if you get that 6 in race 2, and the fave here, you're going to be struggling to make that $75 back.
That's what I would play. Yeah, but. I think there's a chance here, but that's what I would play. They're loading though, so I'll turn it over. I was going to
waiting on Parco, and She Makes Sense. They're in the gate.
Nope.
And they're off. Naughty Evelyn is going to the lead. Parco has speed. Roman Empress down at the rails. She Makes Sense. And Awesome Pamela is at the back of the field. They head past the 7/8 pole, and it is Naughty Evelyn to set the pace. Uncontested, cruising along thus far. Has it a length and a half. Parco hustled into second. At the rail, Roman Empress third, followed by Awesome Pamela, joining She Makes Sense. 4.5 covers the entire field. They swing onto the backstretch with Naughty Evelyn to catch. Hounded now by Parco, who's just 3/4 of a length back with less than 5 furlongs to run. Roman Empress, Awesome Pamela, Yellow Cap between horses, and She Makes Sense outside of them. They've taken even closer order past the half-mile pole. Naughty Evelyn and Parco are on even terms. She Makes Sense 3 wide, Roman Empress at the rail, Awesome Pamela between those two. 3 furlongs out, and now Parco sets sail. Parco takes the lead away from Naughty Evelyn, who's a neck back second. A length and a half, Awesome Pamela, hard-ridden, trying to come after the top pair. Then She Makes Sense and Roman Empress, they turn for home, and Parco in control. 2.5 length lead, Roman Empress between rivals. Awesome Pamela on the outside. Here's Roman Empress coming through swiftly on the inside with a furlong to go. And Awesome Pamela, they're on both sides of Parco, and they go on with it. Roman Empress or Awesome Pamela. Roman Empress just in front. Awesome Pamela half length back and grinding. Here's the line. Photo goes to Roman Empress.
Yeah, that's
Awesome
nice.
Pamela.
I mean, that race was I'm kind of bummed I didn't I didn't get to play my pick 4, man. I almost had it. I was at the last race and then went off. It was like I pressed the single button to go bet and didn't get there. But you get the EquinEdge long shot, you know. So that was yours. That will be mine, but didn't get punched, which is how it works. But you know, that's it's gonna pay nice. I mean, Roman Empress at 5-1 there has the apprentice, ends up winning. That race was rough. So nice to catch a price, Oldy, there on your ticket and your single to the 2 in the next. I'll end up probably playing a pick 3 or something, I guess. But it won't pay. And go ahead.
Top SOR as well on Roman Empress.
Yeah, I mean, this horse had the apprentice. You know, I wasn't sure this horse could rate, but it was dropping, right? I mean, so you don't really know. And obviously, you know, add the apprentice there, which that's where I like to find. How can you find the angle that the apprentice might help for some reason? You know what I mean? Like dropping, add the apprentice, EquinEdge long shot, you know, all types of things. So,
yeah.
All right. Over to Gulfstream Park, Oldy. We are both spread here. Got a bit of a price in the last, right, with Rosebug after getting your single in the first. I'm 236,789, and you are 236,778. You know, the 3 is taking money, Oldy, and we talked about this horse, 13% to win, being on the pace on the turf, and I just there's not a lot of speed here. Was my concern.
Yeah, no, and I would love to find that horse, if you will. I mean, 3-1's bet down a little more than I would like, but you know, it's really tough to win with that rail out. I mean, it's not quite the 60 feet it was the last weekend, but 42 is still out pretty far.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, this horse, it is a 9-horse field. So I think it could be tough for them to be able to. Oh, sorry, I'm not even showing my screen, man. It couldn't. It could be tough for them. I mean, you know, to come off the pace. I think somebody like Irad, right, riding the 7 is likely to probably be somewhat close to the pace here, I would guess. But I think to your point, like it's not like it's a 12-horse field. I mean, it's 9-horse field, but the rail still is out, so it could make it tough for the 4 and 5, is what we talked about before.
Yeah.
That's
interesting, Tony. Check out the note from. Can we pop that note up on the screen from Tony?
Oh, that's Anthony. Is that? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's he mean? Web horses?
The issue, I think he means with.
Oh,
I'm not sure what he means. What I think he means the issue with horses at GP is they come down with a winter coat, like horses that ship in, and they have to shut it, like the Ravellis would be an example.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But-
and that they were actually talking about that on the on the TVG broadcast yesterday. About last year, Ravelli brought a bunch of horses down, and it took about 3 weeks down there before they started running like people would have expected, and they felt that that was, it was a process of getting used to the heat, but it makes more sense that it was shedding the winter coat and everything like that.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. And we will, Tony, we're going to do, after this Gulfstream race, we're going to do the Golden Gate pick 6. We will, Oldy and I, try to figure out how we put it together. Oldy, with how, I thought the early was difficult. So since it starts in race 3, I know that you were saying there wasn't a lot of horses in some of the races, but I do think they're difficult. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going to play as big of a budget as I would for most mandatories, or recommend as big of a budget, because it's only 54K, and there's so few horses to spread to. I did come up with a single that I think it's a 2-horse race, and I'm choosing one of them. I have a note on the horse as well, so I'm kind of following my note.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's see here. We have they're behind the track. Oldy, I'm gonna jump this over because I run to the restroom and I'll be right back, but I'm gonna put the race on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony, we will talk after this, probably the Golden Gate pick 6, and I do actually really like a horse there, so we'll see what happens. But I just would caution you, because of the limited number of horses in the sequence and the fact that the carryover is not that high, not to overbuild your tickets because of the words mandatory. Like, I'd play this similar to the way I'd play pick 5 at Golden Gate in terms of budget. And we're loading.
The horses are at the gate. It's now post time. Lining up and moving in for race number 9, first half of the late daily double. Mosler's Image favored. Jane Sabelli for owner Lawrence Stoney Jr. I Router Tees Jr. with the routing assignment. 3-1 respect on Lenny Kate. Kizzy's taking play at 7-2. Danger is 9-2. 2-3, 7-8. Key contenders here.
Well, it's the Gulfstream turf, so key contenders doesn't always matter.
Could you hear okay, Oldy?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I was commenting on the comment by announcer Pete of who the key contenders are based on betting, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it's the Gulfstream turf, so anything can happen.
And they're off. Blonde on a Mission off a step slow. Good start for Kizzy, who's headed off for the early lead. Danger has speed. The race favorite Mosler's Image won't be far away. And here's the gray Choose to Be Happy into the top flight. They're 4 across the track early. From the inside, it's Kizzy. From between horses, Choose to Be Happy, and Danger is on the outside. On a hard hold while fourth is Mosler's Image, a length and a half in front of Super Duper Ready. Then it's Lenny Kate. She's down toward the inside, passed by Scenic View. Second last is Blonde on a Mission. The trailer is Dancing with Daffodils. Down the backstretch they go. The opening quarter was 24 seconds flat, and with the advantage, it's Choose to Be Happy in front by a neck. Danger latched on to her second. Still on a strong hold is Mosler's Image in third. Kizzy is at the rail with Scenic View out in the center. Then back to the rail and Lenny Kate racing ahead of Blonde on a Mission, and still at the back Dancing with Daffodils. They move into the far turn less than half a mile from the finish. 49-1 for a leisurely half mile. With the advantage, Choose to Be Happy, but only narrowly. From the outside, Danger is second. Scenic View got started ahead of Mosler's Image, so she's held up in traffic. Trying to wind it up wide on the course is Super Duper Ready. Lenny Kate and Kizzy are next as they run to the top of the stretch. Up front,
Yeah,
Scenic
you did.
View
I
now
did
has a
not.
narrow advantage. From the inside, Choose to Be Happy. In between horses, Danger. Mosler's Image, loose for the drive, and
Somebody's
Kizzy's up the
loaded on
rail.
the-
Who do you like here? Eighth of a mile to go down the
I'd
center.
like the 6 or
Mosler's
8,
Image
but it's going
rallies
to be the
forward for a
favorite.
narrow lead. Choose to Be Happy fights back second, but Mosler's Image is the one. It's Mosler's Image to win going away. Close then for second. Either Lenny Kate or Choose to Be Happy.
Yeah,
Almost got
Danger's
the
fourth.
11 to 1
131
6
flat.
there.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That race was wide open. I guess that showed it. I mean, they were all kind of coming, and
7 to 2, 5 to 2 isn't bad on that horse who was dead on the line. I think it was 9 to 5 on the morning line.
yeah, no, for sure. All right, where are we at?
We're at the goldenest of gates.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's anything, Oldy?
I'm betting in this race.
You are or not?
Well, no, I'm just saying there's odd betting in this race at Golden Gate.
What do you mean odd betting?
Your 9 to 5, 41% horse is currently at 5 to 1.
Yeah, why is this one horse is top EquinEdge pick though is the current favorite to your point?
Now on mine, on my screen, it's the second EquinEdge pick.
To the one? Oh no,
Yeah.
I was talking about the one.
Yeah, the one's the second EquinEdge pick.
Look at mine.
Huh.
Right? Isn't
Yeah,
that
well, I could screenshot mine. Mine shows 5-1, and yours shows 2-1 to the 5 script.
look, it
5
switched.
No,
No, it switched. I just moved off the screen and came back.
that's so odd. That's the second time today I've seen that.
It must be and I don't know when the 3 scratched. Maybe it's just because the 3 just scratched.
No, it's been out for a while.
I don't know then, man. That's pretty funny though. All right. So I don't know. We won't bet this. We can. So pick 6 starts in leg
Race
3. Why don't we just do this, Oldy? Because we have Santa Anita up in 17 minutes, and we will jump back there. You have your pick 4 there to your single, and then that's my ticket that didn't get played. But let's just start to pick 6. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, hold on one sec. My screen is messed up here. Here we go. All right, let's start the pick 6. Okay, so
What do we want to do for a budget?
I'm just throwing 120 like it's a pick 5.
Okay.
I did actually put something together here, so let me
The
know.
2. So we got about, this will be good. We got about 15 minutes to put this pick 6 together. We can try to, let's start with, I always like to try when I play joint tickets to land on where the single is. So I would say, let's see if we can come up with a joint single, would be my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. I did not look at the last 3 races. I only looked at the first 3 because I only looked at the early pick 5. But did you have a single in the first 3 races, or was it?
I did not. No.
Yeah, I probably don't either. Looking at all my notes. So, where would you have singled?
I would single in race 7. I'm sorry, I was going to say 8. The 3. I have a note on the 3. There's some classy horses here too. This is a difficult field, but it appears to be the speed. The horse has been very successful on the lead at Golden Gate.
Yeah, has only gone one time 8 furlongs, but this horse is tactical too. I mean, look right here.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then these last 2 races was on the lead, and I mean, this horse fits here big time. My My guess, right, is this is an insanely tough race just looking at it, because and the reason I say that, right, is you can see it in the morning lines. Like, the system dislikes this horse on a morning line with coming off the pace, where it likes the 4, it likes, look at the 7. This horse is 27%. Like, I mean, this is wild, right?
Mhm.
I mean, you have Pena for Jonathan Wong. What's wrong with this horse, Oldy?
You know, it's going to have to get close enough to press, I think is and maybe it will. Because if you look at when and it may be a little cheap too.
Well, I mean, almost 1 in a 60,
Yeah.
though. I mean, and
It
then
didn't really pass anybody though. You know,
this horse is coming off a massive layoff, second off a massive layoff, right? That was almost a year ago, and then just came back after 11 months.
I mean, the 2 I had there were 3 and 7, but I think the 2 is really dangerous too. I just question as to whether that horse needs to lead.
The 2 horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really shown that it can rate or stalk. I mean, this horse just doesn't, but it's been facing way tougher, right? I think, this is its first time going 2 turns on the synthetic, though. I don't necessarily love that at start number 20. Well, and especially in an allowance tough race, like, you're gonna do your first something for the first time versus in a difficult race. All right, let's come back. Let's see, because I think the 7 is interesting. Just looking at that horse, I also love that Pena gets off of the 1 horse who he'd rode both times and decides to ride the 7 who he's rode 3 straight times. Right, Roman is back. I think Chris maybe said that, but and I love that the morning line loves this horse and doesn't love this horse. So let's see. Let's add 3-7 there. The system wants to single the 3 in race 2.
Oh, because you're locked.
Oh. Let's see here. Might have to unlock these. That one's unlocked. That one. All right, hold on. Oh, it wants to go 2 by 2s by 2s, which
is fine. I mean, if you have a 2-horse race, why not take both horses?
All right, let's see if we can do it this way. We'll see if we can get there. This might work. So let's start at the top. Race 3. What do we got till Santa Anita? 10 minutes. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So I thought in the 1's the pace. It's tactical. The 2 has a big win percent. The 4 was also pace. So that horse drops out with the scratch. So you end up having the 1 who can get the lead, but this horse also was rated in a 58, dueled essentially, but it's now going to be on the inside. So you got to imagine lots of pepper sends. Is coming off the turf. He gets a little GSR increase, but ran well here in the past. So this horse fits.
And that horse can rate a little bit if you.
The 1?
Yeah, the 1 right there.
Yeah. No, I agree. That was what I said. I mean, in my situation, I would be 1-2-5 here, Oldy. The system wants to go 1-2-6. I mean, I could see the 6 as well. I thought the 5 was I just said this horse has been on it's raced better on turf than synthetic. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I thought that likely that the speed is going to burn itself out. But the scratch of the 4 helps a little bit there. I think you have to take a closer look at the 3, even though it's a 1% trainer. Because the 3, is your top SOR there.
Tough race for sure.
Yeah.
Let's come back. We'll see what the system does. I don't know. This race was tough, although you saw my ticket. I thought I liked the 3 a lot here. Was there somebody who If I had to,
I mean, I was 1 through 4 here.
I would be comfortable going too deep here with me. I like the 3 best. So I don't know if you have another horse that you like.
I like the 4. If I had to choose another horse, it would either be the 4 or the 6, honestly, as I look at it. But
I like the 6 a lot too. I mean,
but you know, it looks to me like you're choosing 2 horses that are the same, basically. And
I
the
don't
1 and the
like
2.
the 1. I would not even put the 1 on my ticket. This is the horse I talked about, how this horse does not run well on the rail. It's also 0 for 9 at the surface and distance. I like 3 and 6 best. That would be my
So
opinion.
if you give me the 4 there, I'm just looking. Maybe not. I mean, there's that 1 5 furlong, 5.5 furlongs. There's one race that it looks like the 4 ran well enough to win here. But I'm willing to go with you on this.
Just 3 6?
Sure.
All right. We can come back to. So
I don't know. 3, I mean, you get the big GSR jump. The 6, you're getting a decent sized drop in terms of actual level, even though the SOR doesn't indicate it. Okay. I could,
well, but look how is this Cristobal? Yeah, Cristobal Herrera. Look how he rode this horse back here in a 44 and a 48. And even here in a 48. And then he gets off, and I don't know who Pedro Flores is, but the horse runs different, and he gets back aboard here. I think this horse is insanely. This horse, I may even like the 6 more than the 3.
well, and I think that I think maybe we need to take another look at the 2. As I look closer to this, I think the 2 may need the lead, but the 2's training like a wild man.
I mean, this horse is 4%.
Wait, are we on the same race here then?
No, leg 2.
Maybe. Okay, I was on leg 3 for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I was 1 3 4 here. So, like I said, I like the 4. You don't like the 1, so let's toss the 1, and then the 6. I don't know how I did that. I can see the 6. I mean,
oh, we're not going to let the system do this. Hold on.
But I could toss the 1 there.
I think we should toss the 1 100%. Yeah. Like it's and I would be comfortable. I might even like the 6 more than the 3. So maybe you like the 4 best?
I like so I think the 1 and the 3 are going to hook up on the front end. I think they both kind of want the same space there. The risk is, and the reason I would keep the 1 in, the 3 in, with the 1 being on the rail and seeming to not like the rail, the 3 could just get an easy lead.
No, I know. That was my concern. We'll see what we can do here. So we're going to come back to race 1. So race 3, let's go to this because you were looking at this. So is the 2, I mean, maybe
the 2 is a single there.
Okay, well, that's good. This horse is 0 for 11, though. This horse has got 7 seconds.
Let's see.
The 7 scratch, too, I thought was interesting. But that's maybe a good thing. The 1 is 0 for 6. The 5 is a long shot. All right. Well, here, we'll just single this horse.
The 3 is 0 for 5 and no in the money runs, but is taking a huge GSR jump.
Yeah. I mean, but this horse I guess could win. I mean, this is just like a brutal race. I mean, the 2, this horse is dropping a little bit, but not, this horse should have won by now. So, maybe today's the day, Oldy. I guess, lemon drop shot. This horse is 45% to win.
Well, and it is dropping to its lowest level too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, let's hear.
But it is only, hold on, let's look here. So it is only a 58 GSR. So it's second in GSR. I'm looking at the one. The one's got a big jump in win percentage, and so does the two. I mean, the two's taking a huge jump in win percentage.
I mean, the one tried. It has never been on the rail. It does not break well. But I mean, the horse is getting second places in 48, so it's getting a drop in SOR quite a bit. Where you look at the two, right? This horse is. I mean, the crazy thing is the two was running here in maiden specials at Golden Gate, and just like now, and it still has not been able to win.
It looks like it's had trouble staying healthy too, and they've been messing with it, going back and forth between dirt and synthetic.
Well, this horse, right, is third off a massive layoff. I mean, it was off for 10 months. So, I mean, they continue the drop here. I mean, it is Jonathan Wong. So did Wong, when did he get this horse?
You want me to see if I can pull up a traditional PPP or PP? I mean, and
we need the new version of EquinEdge, because that would have it in there, and the handy view would show when the horse was claimed. It wasn't. It obviously it was not in the last race. Pax, come on, man. It was the one was just gelded as well. Angel, Santa Anita's in 3 minutes.
I do not like the peripherals on the one. 9% off the layoff. Looks like Wong's had this horse the whole time on the two.
Wow.
26% third off the layoff. 22% maiden to maiden claiming.
It's a Tommytown thoroughbred, so I guess that makes sense. He's had it the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, and from I mean, the 5's the second time starter. And it's not listing the second time starter percentage for that trainer here, and he's 4%, 1 win, and 23 starts in the meet.
All right, we'll come back to this. Let's go, Oldy. We're gonna go to Santa Anita because they're about to go. Yeah. This horse is 12-1. So you were originally 2-6 and said you like the two the best. I like the 2-2. So I hope this horse wins at 12-1 for your ticket.
12-1, and I mean, granted, I did not expect the 6 to be 2-5.
Yeah, I mean, there's I think the 2's going to run well, so maybe you can play the 2 even with the 6 for a little value if you don't love the 4. The 2 being the longest shot on the board, I think, is interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I think this horse could run as well. You can see the 8 at Gulfstream is the favorite currently. That's the Irad first-time starter.
Yeah,
one horse I think has. Go ahead.
I should probably check my will pays on that too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that I was 1 and 8 there, so the 1's obviously going to be a little bit of a better price, but Santa Anita, Oldie single to the 2. This horse potentially has a chance to run. I think the 5 in the next race as a price has a chance to run. I also think the 7 in the 5th race, it was an interesting second Scotty pick, but the 6 is just getting hammered here, so for sure is live. Oldie, how would you play this, Oldie? Knowing do you play an exacta instead to try to cover, or what do you do here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you have to do, or play a double into the next race with the 6 as your cover.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, let's see if we can come up with a double here. All right, so let's go to the probables, and we go to doubles. All right, so maybe 6-4 or 6-1 in the next race. Pay decently. They pay about a little over 20-1. The 8 pays about 10 to 1.
I thought the 5 was interesting next, but that 5
sorry.
pays like 50 to 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a 2-6 into the 5 double. They're approaching the gate. I don't. We'll see if Frank talks here in a minute, but I just released the stream and added it again, but I haven't heard him.
Yeah, he's been slow in talking there. So let's see if I were to do this.
It's post time. Set to kick off the Rainbow Six. Tangled Duping Gray coming up. Sassy Nature to the outside. And they're off.
I didn't get it in.
Sassy Nature began beautifully, clears the field in just a few jumps. Devil Among Us in between horses. Tangled Duping Gray
that's rough.
Oh, two just
and is
checked
about
out.
2 lengths off the lead. They're followed by Clouseau and Red Cross Knight at the back of proceedings. It is Sassy Nature to the half-mile pole, in hand, in command. 3/4 of a length. Devil Among Us is in second, followed by Tangled Duping Gray on the outside third, and Clouseau fourth, now 4 lengths off the leader. Another 3 back to Red Cross Knight. 3 furlongs out, Sassy Nature.
I'm ready to say
Among Us
my single's
is within
dead
a
here.
half length. These two are 2.5 clear of Clouseau, racing on the inside of Tangled Duping Gray with a 1/4 mile to go.
I think the
Sassy
6
Nature
is
still with
gone.
plenty of gas in the tank. Cornering just a little bit wide as they straighten up. Devil Among Us trying hard in second, and Clouseau is down at the rail. An 1/8 to go. Devil Among Us trying to gather in Sassy Nature, and Clouseau continues to finish dangerously at the rail.
1
Here's
is
Clouseau
rolling.
sticking that neck out along the rail.
Give
Clouseau,
Inspector
Devil
Clouseau.
Among
Wow.
Us, Sassy Nature weakens late. Clouseau wins at 3/4.
At the wrong
Second-
rating horse.
Yeah, I mean that was EquinEdge long shot.
Yep.
I don't know. I that's a tough race. I didn't end up playing this, but these first 2 legs were tough. You end up with the 1 EquinEdge long shot there. You end up with again at 7 to 1. I did play the pick 3 back, so that was good. We'll have to wait and see here, but got shut out. All right, Gulfstream Oldy. We got you are 1, 2, 4, 8, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. If it doesn't go to the 1, it's a break-even proposition, pretty much.
Yeah, I
Um,
thought the 1 was interesting. What's the 8 paying?
Oh, the 8 is paying. You would think I would still have that up. Hold on. And then I got to sneak to the bathroom real quick here and take a quick break. The 8 is paying $72. The 4 is paying $65. The 2 is paying $71, and then the 1 is paying $313. So go 1, and then I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. I think the 8 here is interesting for everybody. I also like the 1. I would play a 1/8 exacta here. Would be my play. The 1 horse, second time starter, big morning line angle. These are the 2 horses on the pace. I would not be surprised to see is that the 1 gets the lead and Irad tries to raid. I think the 1 could go wire. And I think Irad could just go around the one. I think both these horses could just go around the track in first and second, in my opinion. I don't know. What are the probables on? This is Gulfstream race 10. I think the 8, right, is the EquinEdge top pick. It's also the top win percent. It's a first-time starter. But I don't think it's first to lock. I think the 1's going to run well. I know Lee talked a little bit about the 4, but I think Zaya is on the 1 for Safi, or for Mary Leiter. Sorry, not for Safi. But I think that is going to show a good ride here. And the 8 obviously taking a lot of money, but I don't think that it's any lock at all on the 8 horse. So my play would be 1-8. Let's see how much time. Well, it looks like they're still behind the gate. EquinEdge long shot there gets at home at Santa Anita, $17. So back-to-back EquinEdge long shots. Oldy, nice little payday. If somebody's got the pick 4 or 5 live.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's get the 1.
Yeah, I was
Cindy's live to the 1 also there. She's got the 1-3. Is that 1-3-8? Oh yeah, 1-3-8, not 1-3-3-8. Which is
I
the way I
think
originally read it.
the 1-8 exacta is a good play here. You're gonna get 25 to 1, the 8 over the 1, and you're almost getting 40 to 1 if the 1 wins. So Oldy, I'm a fan of both these horses though. I think it could just go around the track, either 1 over the 8 or 8 over the 1, but we'll see here in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, speed's tough on the synthetic on going 5 furlongs too.
Yep. No, for sure. I would not be surprised to see the 1 just go gate to wire here. So we'll see. We can turn it over to announcer Pete. The last race at Gulfstream for the day. Tomorrow, Oldy, big day. Pegasus World Cup day at Gulfstream Park.
Yep, looking forward to it. Do you want to also share your thoughts on the Pegasus since you won't be on the air?
I can't share any thoughts, man, because I have absolutely not even looked at it one bit. So if I had thoughts, I would share them, but I've not even looked at the race. I don't even know who is in the race at this point.
Okay. Fair enough. And I'll tell you, for everybody, Justin's been, just the fact that we got Justin here for a few hours is a victory in itself, because he's been crazy swamped with work, and he still takes the time out to do the show with everybody, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Oldy. I love being able to spend the time, and I love handicapping. It's just been very rough. Like the last few weeks has been very busy. I actually enjoy getting to do this still, and I think a lot of people heard me last Friday. Last Friday was just brutal, and it's just like you get to take some time out of the day. I mean, I was up at 5 a.m. working, so it's like take a little bit of an extra long lunch and and jump back on. The kids are out. Kids came home early. You might be able to hear my 7-year-old behind here playing Fortnite. They had conferences this week. So yeah. All right. We'll turn it over to Pete for race number 10. Go number 1. 4 is going to be the favorite, which is pretty wild, but I'm hoping to see the 1 go gate to wire.
Dancer and Frosted Bird. Frosted Bird, first timer for.
Yeah, I'm really hoping the 8 doesn't break and the 1 gets an easy lead.
Renegade. And runners away. Step slow to break, Midnight Getaway. On the comeback try, Courageous Copper, quick off the blocks and leads early on from first-timer Frosted Bird, who's away in second. It's a gap of 2 to Blue Lieutenant, who's well situated, third at the inside. Followed fourth by Luscious Dancer. Then it's back to Midnight Getaway and Red Gun. And left behind last is Go Go Green. Around the far turn at the 3 furlong point, Courageous Copper has the lead 3 parts of a length. Frosted Bird taking up the slack second. It's a gap of 2 to Blue Lieutenant, who's racing together with Luscious Dancer third and fourth. Midnight Getaway is in tight well toward the inside. Then back to Red Gun. Go Go Green is last as they turn for the money.
Come on, Zaya.
Inside, it's Courageous Copper trying to hold off Frosted Bird on the outside. Courageous Copper is still in front.
Hang on,
He's turned
Irad.
away Frosted Bird with an 1/8 of a mile remaining. Red Gun down the center, and Midnight Getaway's out the race. rail, but a sharp start is going to get Courageous Copper home first. Courageous Copper well prepared off the long layoff to win by 5. Good battle there.
And I believe we get the 4 out of 5 payout on the pick 5 too.
That is true, Oldy. There you go. Very nice. Yeah, number one, I mean, 9-1. I think I ended up placing. I ended up betting a cold exacta for $20, but not to the horse that got second, so it didn't matter. But ended up doing a little bit of a win bet too. But nice to get 4 home in the pick 4. You get the best horse. Yeah, that's a good boom, Cindy. And then Oldy, to your point, get 4 out of 5 in the pick 5 as well. So
looks like a bunch of people in the chat are booming. So maybe that means that some people did see that up, either played it themselves or did see it up on your screen when you left it there.
Yeah. Time to cash, Scott. I like it. That's good. It's a good way, Oldy, to somewhat end the show. I know we got about 20 minutes, but it's always good to bring home a 9-1 there, and whether people played the pick 4, the pick 5, or got a win bet or something. I would have loved to see the 8 get second, but I don't know who ended up getting second. Oldy, did you see?
I think it might have been the 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but I'm not positive. I did not see. Anybody else see?
Yeah, James, of course. Yeah, and not a lot of people hit that. That's awesome. Oh, the 4 ended up getting second, Oldy. Okay. So, yeah.
Well, maybe the 4 is a hanger, and because I think the 4 has multiple seconds. But look at that quarter horse start there. You're muted again.
No,
you were telling your kids that race was, after seeing the start from the head on, I'm not surprised the 1 won. It was a quarter horse start where the 8 broke in and all the other horses broke into each other, and the 1 just had a free delivery, if you will, to the lead.
Well, and that was a quick start, right? I mean, Zaya sent. I mean, he was sent and he was going to do it. Like, I thought that might happen. I mean, that was the top pace. That horse could improve there, right? So, and the 8 got over bet, right? I mean, that's not surprising, but Courageous Copper, 9-1.
And again, if you're playing a pick 5 and you have a strong opinion on a single and you get knocked out before that single, don't be afraid to play it back. Which is exactly, we got that 2 home as essentially a free square. We almost got the 6 home in the previous leg too. Otherwise, this would have paid a lot more money too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take it.
Yeah. Can't complain, but nicely done there. Close it out at the end. All right, Oldy, we have to. How much time do we have?
We got 6 minutes to the gate.
5. Yeah, 6 minutes. Okay, let me get off the Gulfstream here. We will put it over to here, and then we will come over to here. All right, are we singling this Wong horse? Is that the single?
I think that was what we were leaning towards.
Okay, and then we will go 3-7 in this race because this was your other single, but I think we need the 7 horse.
Okay.
And race 7. So, all right, well, let's go back through then. So here, so in race, we were 3-4-6 here in race 4, leg 2. I think we should toss the 1, but you tell me, do you want to add the 1 here?
Let's see. So we're at 120 right now. Hold on. Let me just, if I can get my E to refresh here. Here we go. And this is the thing with live handicapping. So in race 6, I was just 5-6. You're spread a little further, but we could go 3-4-6 and drop the 1 in.
So I didn't look at the last 3. I only looked in the early pick 5. So this is all ticket generator of what, other than we did look at this race. So the ticket generator is spreading in race 6 and race 8.
Okay. So I thought, so the 6 and the 5, they're both 26%. I would add the 2 in race 6 also, who is 82 on the pace. And I think that's as deep as I would go there. Let me see. I have a note on the 4. I have a lot of Golden Gate notes. No factor.
What about the 1 though? I mean, we have all the horses are going to be close to the lead. What about
the one in race 6?
Yeah, it's EquinEdge long shot. I mean, 7%.
It's 1 for 15 at the distance.
Yeah, that's not good. The 7 is 0 for 7. The 3, okay. I mean, I guess what about the 3 is 3%.
And, and it appears to be a dirt horse too. Its only recent win was on the dirt on the 1.
Well, so then, I mean, we could.
I mean, the 7 looks like a hanger, but you could play the 7 on a little bit of a drop. I don't like the 4, and the 3 looks a little cheap. So
no, I think these are good. So I think then again, do we need all these horses? Is there a way to only go in the first leg in race 3 here? It's adding all, but
yeah, but that's off our budget. And just, I mean, we could go all here. If you beat that 2 there, it's going to be worth it. I don't necessarily think the 2 is better than the 1 there. Like, I'd be okay with the ticket you have on your screen right now.
we play 126, and the only thing I did there, everybody, is I just went all in the last race because we were all but 1. I mean, there's the ticket.
Yeah, I would
try to beat the chalk here, but take the chalk in leg 3 is essentially what's happening, right?
And if you get both, you may end up with like a $200 payout. But if you hit, but you could get a bomb in the last too.
Yeah, and we're also tossing the chalk in leg 2. So I think I didn't necessarily love the 2 here. So I would have added definitely other horses. So I like the way it's playing. So I'm with you, Oldy. I'm not gonna. I'm all Oldy. If you want to play it, I'm happy to Venmo you or whatever if you want to split it. But I'm not gonna play it. Just
no, I'm not.
Okay.
My feeling was that there's too few horses to produce a profit. I think you saw Chris said in the chat that he thinks that the Tampa pick 5 carryover tomorrow will pay more than this mandatory.
The only thing I would say is the way that, like, if I don't necessarily love this horse as a single, but I get it, especially with the system, is you possibly could beat all 3 of these favorites in the first 3 races, in my opinion. That's how it's going to pay.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're trying to beat the first 2, to be honest, and then, singling the third one here, which, this horse is 0 for 11, maybe cashes the check today. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but also, you could play, a regular mandatory ticket here. You'd add in those narrow legs, and I think a lot of people are playing this like a mandatory, but the pool's only at about $200,000 right now.
Yeah. Why'd they do mandatory today?
Because Gulfstream's on mandatories on Sunday, and tomorrow's the Pegasus.
And then is Golden Gate, are they done? Like,
no.
Is it pausing? Oh, okay.
No. This is the winter spring meet. So,
yeah.
Okay. So this is a Astronic weekend, if you will. You have this, you have the Pegasus, you have the Coast to Coast, and you have the Gulfstream mandatory.
Yeah.
On Sunday. So, and I'm sure we'll be talking before the Gulfstream mandatory on Sunday, because we expect, I believe it's at 500,000 right now. So we expect 3-4 million in that pool on Sunday would be the guess.
I may not actually end up playing tomorrow. I have 2 basketball games. Both kids have baseball tryouts tonight. So tonight we're going to the Harlem Club.
Oh, nice.
Trotters, man. Yeah, the kids have never had. I'll turn it over to Matt here in a minute. The kids.
I did that when I was a kid. I remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, I had gone to. Have you? Yeah. Oldy, the pick 4 at Gulfstream ended up paying $313.
Yeah.
Well, good. I mean, I ended up playing my pick 5 back, and then I cut the 1 because it scratched. I mean, then I ended up that's awesome. And then the 4 or 5, mine ended up paying $60. I don't know what yours ended. No, mine ended up 60. Yeah.
Well, 4 or 5 paid $60. That's that's pretty decent on 4 or 5.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I almost had that single, man, not almost. Horse got second in the first race. But what did the pick 5 pay? Did you see?
Let's see. Give me a sec. I'll just look. I did have this up. Hold on. I'm still on it. Results. Oh, it's on there. I hate that they pretend like the what's it called? Their simulcast is part of the regular broadcast. So the pick 5 paid
$1,200. I found
$1,200. Yeah. Which isn't bad.
No, not at all. Why don't we do this?
Pick 6 paid $3,000. We're at $600,000 carryover in the pick 6 pool. I think 3, maybe even 5 million on Sunday. So it's Sunday if you're around on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I will be. I probably will not end up playing much tomorrow, but I'm all in for looking at Sunday, so we will catch up. Why don't we do this? I have it is 1:52. What time is Santa Anita? Where's Santa Anita?
That's 12 minutes away.
Let me see. I'm going to turn it over to Matt here. Let me see if we can at least close it out with the last race at Santa Anita, because I want to see if the 5 horse runs there. So let me look at my schedule real quick, but we'll turn it over to Matt, everybody, for race 3 at Golden Gate.
Sounds good.
Start of the pick 6.
That wasn't Matt, was it? I don't think that was.
Lots of pepper to the inside post coming up to the gate. Canham Gal has taken her spot. Here comes Lagatha, post position 2.
Lagatha, I love that.
New money in the pick 6, well past the $250,000 now. As Lagatha has got in. Tip Top Gal posts 3, and to round out the group, Hot Rageous to complete the live.
So we have in Daniel and
Hot
Scott.
Rageous is in. We're ready to go.
Floor tickets.
Start of the pick 6 with a mandatory payout today.
Yesterday was my daughter's first non-practice, non-competition day in 12 days.
Wow. I'm sure she enjoyed the rest, man.
Yeah. She has
and
3
Picture
on her world team.
Star.
She has 3 teammates on the shelf right now.
But lots of pepper and Lagatha. Those two sent hard, and they absolutely fly down the backstretch.
Just what we thought was going to happen.
Lagatha square off in the first quarter mile. It's a speed duel between these two speed demons, and they put 4 or 5 lengths on Hot Rageous. Happy to track this wicked fast pace. Tip Top Gal is next.
The one is racing.
Gal well out of it, but at least she has a fast pace to chase.
Yeah.
Lots
and the 2 was the one we thought couldn't race. And I think the 6 or the 3 is going to win this race.
Lots of pepper hits the quarter pole, length and a half in front. Lagatha 1 to 5 has to turn it around. She's back in second.
Ridiculous that horse was 1 to 5.
Here comes Hot Rageous. After
the ones
that fast
I think
pace,
hold
can she
on.
get to lots of pepper? Lots of pepper. Furlong to go. The leader by a length and a half.
5's coming too.
Chasing Canham Gal from well
this
behind.
Could be a bomb.
Is coming. Can she get there? She'll have to make up another couple lengths on Hot Rageous, who gets the jump. Hot Rageous to win it at 7-1 to.
Now it's going to pay.
I mean, this ticket, Oldy, I'll have to watch it now. I mean, there's a lot of potential here. I mean, and I love the ticket we put together, to be honest, because you try to beat 2 favorites, right? You know, so there's good potential here, in my opinion. Even if the 3 wins, you're going to beat this 1 horse potentially. But, you know, good structure. You know, I end up having the chalk and leg 3, but we can let's talk Santa Anita race 4, Oldy, and then we'll close it out. My non-played pick 4 was very spread here. I did play a pick 3 for $5 though, from race 3 into the 7 single in the next race. I really like the 5 here, and this horse is taking money, which is a good sign in my opinion. I think, Oldy, we talked about, there's gonna be a lot of speed here. These horses may duel up front, nothing special. The 3 doesn't look like anything special, so you end up coming down to, I think, Oldy, you had said the 5, 1, 4, 6 was who you thought.
Yeah, no, I think one of those horses comes from behind here. The 2 and the 8 they're going to duel. And maybe it's the one with the Sormo, because you have a bunch with all the top jockeys kind of out of town. You have a bunch of the B jockeys here, and maybe the Sormo's just, well, JJ's here, I guess, but DeSormo might just have one of those DeSormo rides.
I thought so. Here, my on the 5. I mean, if these horses duel and you assume that the 3 is not going to win, kind of blue. This horse has not been running, but this does drop. But I thought this horse, maybe runs off the GSR increase, right? But I don't know if this horse can win. But that horse maybe can run a little bit better with the pace. But I thought that the 5, Jacqueline Cochran, this horse gets a GSR increases 9%, did run, gets off the rail, didn't break great, was a step slow, second time could improve here, gets on the turf, and I believe this horse was working okay, Oldy. I did look at the work report, and this horse, I think, really, really, and it's taking money. That's what I love. Still 7-1, but is bet down from a 10-1 morning line.
So what about a double? Because I just looked at the will pays. A 5, 3, 4, 6, 7 double. Let's say for $4, that's $20 total. And the worst will pay on there if the 5 hits, it would be $92 to the 3.
Oh, you're saying, I see. So you're saying play 1, 4, 5, 6 into the 3?
No, what I was saying play. Well, you could do that too. I was thinking pay, but it's really not worth it. I would play the 5 if you believe in the 5. I'd play a double from the 5 to the horses you believe in the next leg.
Yeah, which to me was 3, 5, 7. It's the EquinEdge picks. That's what I would play that for 5. That's what I would play.
But I will tell you, if you add the 4 who was working equally with the 3 there, that double pays for $2 pays $342.
Well, there. See, that's what I would play. Great.
And that's what Brad means by looking at the probables, and looking for value. Even the 6 or the 7 you love that you thought about singling there, $110 to the 5 on a double 5, 7.
See, I'm gonna play that for $10. I'm gonna play the 5 into the 7, just straight cold for $10, and then I'm gonna play 5 into what you said. So we 3, 4, 5, 7, and I'll play that for $5. That'd be $20. Okay. Yep.
And, all right. I'm just looking what other horses did I like here? The 4. So I'm gonna play 4, 5 into the 7 is my other play.
Yeah, I mean, I like them
again. I'm just reading the will pays or the probables and looking for value.
I mean, it's a good point. Like, I like like for me, because I like the 5 here and the 7 and next, I can play them both as a single. So, what I would then do probably here is play something directly into the 7, but maybe play a 1, 4, 5, 6, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I do think the 8 was a little bit interesting. You know, this horse could be dangerous on the lead, to be honest. But Kyle Fraser,
I don't know
7.
the trainer. That they're 0 for 7 together.
I mean, can the 2 rate at all? I guess we'll find out. I mean, this horse is dropping in class. I mean, just like Irad did earlier in the day, you know, this horse might be able to improve. JJ rides back. It's taking a drop. I mean,
yeah.
We'll have to see.
It'll be interesting for sure. Maybe we get one more boom on the way out the door here.
Right? I like it. Speaking Spanglish, the 4, I mean, this horse is going to have to come late. 6 is EquinEdge long shot, a little bit interesting too. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I thought this was a pretty much an all race. I didn't use the 3 here, even though the 3 has a huge GSR.
Yeah, that was a bit of the interesting one, right? I mean, I don't think this horse probably can win, but if you're playing a vertical bet and you assume, I mean, that would be the horse, in my opinion, to, well, I like the 5 a lot. I mean, I think both of these horses, if neither one of these favorite wins, I would not be surprised to see the trifecta pay well with a 3 and 5. I mean,
So Scott, what are you booming, by the way? All right, well, we can continue our conversation, but I see a boom up there. I'm thinking, wait, why is he booming all of a sudden?
Maybe he was talking about Santa Anita. I don't know.
Great show. He's booming the show. Well, if we can ask you before we go off the air to just hit the like button. And Scotty did mention there's some more shows coming too. You know, I think the goal is to have a platform, not just a couple shows. So, and I'm speaking out of turn there, but I'm glad to just be a small part of it.
All right, we appreciate everybody. Everybody, good luck tomorrow. Oldy's doing a show, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. He will be on with Chris Walsh, fellow EquinEdge user. I will be at Basketball and Baseball tomorrow. They'll be covering the Pegasus card at Gulfstream, probably some other racing. Good luck if playing in the tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be keeping. Seriously, hit me on WhatsApp, hit me on Twitter at the Oldy Capper, and let me know if you're playing, so that we can keep track of you guys too. Because we want to celebrate if one of our listeners, watchers, whatever you want to call it, stream watchers wins as well. That would be a major
line
boom.
for the 4th.
Looks like the 5, my horse doesn't want to load, but they're going to open the gate.
Come on, get in there. All right, he's in.
Chris, you know, the cool thing is last weekend, my 7-year-old hit a buzzer beater at halftime. And then my oldest, they won their first game of the season. So
2 more. Speaking Spanglish and turquoise bikini.
My youngest, though, their team's undefeated. So the spread's probably like plus 10.
1 behind the gate.
Or minus 10. Used to be minus 10.
Minus 5 losses.
I know. Good job, man. Playing down for 50.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Speaking Spanglish was out very alertly. So was turquoise bikini.
The
on
9's going to do the job of that we thought the 2 was
the
going to do
lead.
with
So
the 4.
love our family narrowly.
Yeah,
Turquoise
they're
bikini
going to
second.
fly
Speaking
here.
Spanglish
Wow.
between rivals 3rd. Golden Temper is down at the rail in fourth, followed by a 3-wide C-, who's about 5 lengths off the speed. Jacqueline Cochran is next, followed by Violet Crown. Point and Shoot, who hopped slightly at the start, is second to last, and Kind of Blue trails. Onto the backstretch, Kyle Frey and Love Our Family, dictating the terms up top, in hand by a length and a half. Turquoise Bikini is in second. Golden Temper at the rail, clearly
It's
in
good on the
with
9.
Speaking
Like
Spanglish
chocolates.
fourth,
He's like, what
and
are you
about 2
doing?
off the pace. C- continues in the 3-path past the half-mile pole and is about 3.5 lengths off the lead as they head into the turn. They're followed by Violet Crown. Jacqueline Cochran is next, followed by Point and Shoot, and another 4 to Kind of Blue. Around the far turn, Love Our Family has been there every step of the way. Turquoise Bikini is within a neck now, second. On the far outside, C-. At the rail, Golden Temper. And then comes Violet Crown, followed by Speaking Spanglish in the lime there at the top of the stretch. Love Our Family leads it by a length. Golden Temper trying to get through, nowhere to go at this stage. On the far outside, here's Point and Shoot starting to kick in late, a 16th to go. Turquoise Bikini is also in it. Golden Temper comes through in the final stages, and here comes Point and Shoot.
And of course,
the line, Golden Temper in a very close photo with an oncoming Point and Shoot.
2 apparently can rate.
Right. Well, good show, Oldy. Everybody, we appreciate you being here. Have a good weekend, everyone. Nicely done, Rory. Good luck. But we appreciate all of you. Thanks for tuning in. Oldy, any departing words?
Just thank you, everybody, for showing up for us and watching races with us. I hope you got anybody who played that pick 4 at Gulfstream had a nice boom, and we'll see you tomorrow, and should be a lot of fun.
All right. Good to see you, Oldy. Thanks, everybody. We'll chat soon.